his doctor, right? I'm not in the White House seeing who stands where, does what. He has tested negative repeatedly, daily, since Donald Trump tested positive. I think the reason is because Mike Pence wants this debate. Wants this debate because they believe that this debate and Donald Trump's performances will, in some way, shape, or form, help this race change. Will it? I honestly don't think so, but that's why they're doing it. All right. First of all, thank you for ask questions.
What am I hearing?
Without you, I would have just had to do stand-up comedy, and nobody wants to hear that. But for the last 15 minutes, remember, we are looking at my clock. We're 13 minutes away.
You're very loud in my ear also.
You're coming through on Discord.
But for our last chunk, I wanted to bring in my friend, TV Zone, Nia Malika Henderson, to provide us a little bit of context on where we are. All right, Nia, I want to start simple. Expectations. We focus a lot on the presidential debate, who's good and who's bad. What do we expect out of this debate, broadly speaking?
It won't be anything like we saw last week with the interim chaos
it's not you that's loud, it's the stream.
Donald Trump. In Pence, you have somebody who is warm, kind of smooth as well, but is known to throw a punch. Might do it, wearing the softest gloves, but he's known to do that. In Kamala Harris, you have somebody I think whose reputation is built on what people have seen her do in these hearings, eviscerating Jeff Sessions, doing the same to Bill Barr,
in fact, if I mute it straight
over the last many months of the Trump administration. So you've got these two candidates. I think if you are Donald Trump, you talked about them wanting this debate. They need this debate, to sort of stop the bleeding from this campaign. We've seen the sort of fallout of the last debate, the fallout of Trump's handling more broadly of coronavirus, and more specifically how he's handled his own diagnosis over these last couple of days. So
we are working through some audio issues, but this is going to be the audio recording for the Benzo Rehab Dungeon 2020 Vice Presidential Debate.
Over coronavirus. That's
you're joining via this contest, one of our live streams. Looks like we have one viewer so far. Thanks for joining us. Let us know if the audio is okay on your end.
65% of Americans
kind of working through some things on our end.
So bring it back to that.
Hopefully we'll get them sorted out before
Trump if you are Kamala Harris, and then if you are Mike Pence, talk
You're so
about
crazy loud in my ear, but I can probably survive.
Is basically
weird that I have no control over the audio or the volume on that.
Sanders and AOC and the squad.
So
I think that's what
let me see if it's
a lot from Pence. And I think he will also lay the groundwork that we've seen from Donald Trump to say, no, listen. Their response actually was.
Julianne, you can hear the
Pence will say it's been great. They closed
the streaming video. Okay.
Vaccines, all of the experiences that Donald Trump is starting to talk about more personally now that he has the virus.
All right, so I answered this question, but as I was answering,
you can hear these nerds talking about the pre-debate.
Do vice presidential debates matter? We do remember some moments from them, right? I remember Sarah Palin coming out and saying, "Can I call you Joe?" Remember? Right. I mean, but I'm not sure that changed the race. Do they matter? And then also, sort of, does this one matter a little more because we're talking about a 74-year-old president and a 77-year-old Democratic nominee? Go.
Yeah, a 74-year-old who is sick right now, right? And sort of the specter of further illness, might be there as well. It's hard to say. Maybe this one matters more. Listen, these are certainly the future.
I've got no audio controls on my end
of their running mates. So there's that perspective, but it's hard to know how they matter to voters' mind. I tend to believe 99.9% of voters have made up their mind. People will tune in tonight because they want to see their different.
Next time, I don't know. I mean, I don't think we ever have to figure anything out.
Julianne wants us to kiss so she can go to bed.
The parallel for me is in 2012 when you saw Obama do terribly.
Oh, it was just off screen. Sorry if you couldn't see that.
That was hot. It was so good.
That was really good.
Got the smoochy with
man, I didn't expect your lips to be so plump.
So in some ways, I see that.
Since this is the first time we kissed.
Yes, it is the first time we kissed.
I think
the very first time we kissed.
The Obama administration feel better about that first debate and feel better about
you can see both of our videos as well, Julianne.
Better, but
I'm sorry I'm using you to test everything, but you're our only active participant right now.
And also our only fan.
Also maybe the listener.
Now that Tristan's become one of us.
He said that repeatedly. Which again, I don't think that Obama.
Like that, my phone gave me an update that we're going live.
I want to focus on you mentioned it, but I want to go deeper because I feel like we kind of know what we got.
All right, everything's all good.
Trump and Biden in terms
it actually looks good on my phone.
Relatively briefly about Harris because I think we've seen people who follow politics.
The delay is pretty weird though because I'm watching myself look down while I'm looking up.
When we look at the 2020 presidential primary for the Democrats, and there were a lot of debates.
I can't see.
I like the it's actively doing
what do we know of
those captioning as well. That's pretty neat on Facebook at least.
What maybe went wrong as it went on and she kind of disappeared from debates. Then we'll do Pence. Go ahead.
Listen, I think that's right. Kamala Harris, I've described her as sort of a streaky performer overall, and you see she can have an A+ debate, and then she can have sort of a C or even a D, and you saw that
I would like
down
to
the stretch.
see
Sometimes
how people are interacting, and I can't right now.
Issues. Quite frankly, explaining her own record, and that's something that she's probably going to have to do tonight. She's going to have to know her record. She's going to have to know Biden's record.
Nothing matters anymore.
This is why I need a third screen
as well. Sometimes maybe she seems a little too practiced. And if you think about what her role is as a prosecutor, she's bringing the case, right? So you can study all you want, you can have all your one-liners ready.
Yeah, I don't look like I wanted to kill myself all day at work and came home and
unexpected
to kill myself all day at home.
Gotta be prepared for
I mean,
see how
neither do I.
And then with Pence, I think again,
good looking.
If you're Tim,
couple of boys, couple of fine looking boys,
couple of real boys.
He was a talk show host. He has sort of that
this is going to be if
what's up, Gina?
If somebody is just listening, this is going to be the worst.
So, we'll see. I do think this
probably.
If somebody's like just listening to this after the fact, this is going to be the worst podcast episode they've ever listened to.
I mean, hopefully. I mean, maybe outside of that first one with the echo.
Mike Pence has had to go
that was, and that one has like 300 and something odd plays now. And I'm like, oh man, I kind of want to just delete it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
so like people are forced to go to like an episode that had good audio.
I'm cool with archiving.
Hi Gina, I hope you're doing well today.
Stereotypes associated.
This is going to be hell that we experience. I think it's not going to be as bad as the presidential debate. I think because both of these people are like not in their 70s and not like brain dead old assholes.
Point one.
How old is Pence? He's looked that same way since he was like
he's got like the Race O'Bannon thing going on. Where like he's been like a silver fox since his 30s.
I want to remind people we're just about 5 minutes
Mike
out.
Pence
I've got a few more questions from Nia, but when the debate.
Gina is
61 years.
Gina, I thought that you were saying that you're not. You're all right. You're not sundowning. 61. That seems right.
Yeah, 61. Let's see, Kamala Harris.
Allen Iverson. We talking about practice.
She's old enough to know who Tupac is.
I had to work
I know that much.
He's a Georgetown guy.
Kamala Harris is 55 years.
Every white person knows who Tupac is, Mike.
What do we know about Harris's approach? What do we know about Pence's approach? I know they're both significantly more rigorous than Trump.
But what do we know about how they've gotten ready for this?
Yeah, that delay is wild.
I think
it is pretty wild.
Kamala Harris, she is a rigorous prepper using index cards. And I think Buttigieg was the stand for Mike Pence.
If anybody's wondering, we're drinking whiskey tonight.
He knows his record, right? He knows his record, right?
Yeah, we are.
So that makes
oh man, I just got an ad for the Majority Report is live streaming the debate too.
Oh man, we're
gonna lose all of our viewers now.
All these people want to watch the debate instead of watching the debate
against Tim Kaine, and obviously if you're Pence, you're
motherfuckers.
watching debate.
I'm gonna kill Sam Cedar.
That moment of her going
Jesus.
He's next on my list. I have a long list right now, but
as well. So I think that is what they've been doing over these last many days.
Kill Andrew Colt.
As you said, we know that
grievously injured Justin Murphy.
High expectations, I think.
I want to watch him cry. I think that would be funny and probably very easy to do.
I wouldn't want to be in that seat of those kind of negative expectations.
A lot of the people I need to kill are already dead, and that's a bummer.
What she's done.
Yeah.
In that
It's interesting, and I want to get.
You know, you posted something interesting on your feed earlier.
Oh no!
I didn't know that. Daredevil was like an
underrated
age of consent edgelord.
I hate talking about this. Okay, it's so yes and no.
Yeah, I know it's like probably got some nuance to it, but
yeah. I mean, this is a letter that a lot of the French theorists ended up signing on to. So that includes all of our faves. What was that tweet about how like
I don't know
with
what
Epstein?
camera I'm looking at.
What's that?
Oh, sorry. I was showing everybody the bottom of the Somebody said cheers, so I was like, yeah, here's what we're doing to ourselves tonight.
Right.
But go ahead.
There was that tweet that someone did. I think it was one of the Clinton daughters, maybe, but about how I don't think it was the Clinton daughters, because it just had to do with Clintons. Anyway, about when Epstein first ended up coming around and really getting in, not first, but when he most recently got in trouble and then killed himself.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's what happened, right? But they ended up saying, we're just, we have to admit that a lot of our faves are going to get in trouble over this.
A lot of our faves.
A lot of our faves, our problematic faves. But yeah, so all of our problematic faves signed on to that letter, and the letter had more to do with how, like, arbitrary legal standards can be, and how, like, a 13-year-old could be put in jail for the rest of their lives for committing a crime, but can't make choices with their own bodies, things like that. So it was, yeah, I know, exactly. But it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying in an abstract sense, but also you didn't have to do it in such a weird, creepy, edgelordy way.
Yeah, and maybe the actual solution is to not put 13-year-olds in jail for the rest of their lives because of the decision they make.
I think ultimately that's kind of the point that they were trying to make.
Okay, good.
But
because I feel like that's the only point that could be made out of that without like.
But instead, people always I get this question at least like once a week where it's just like, so what's up with all those French theorists and wanting to fuck kids? And it's like,
no, it's not quite like that.
Yeah, and I gotta be a libertarian, and like technically it's a thebophilia.
Oh yeah, that's never a good position to take in any argument. Like.
It's like, well, actually, it's just anti-capital punishment.
That he is not knocked down. Excuse me. That
anti-capital punishment pedophilia. That fucking rules.
2024 Democratic nominee here.
Man, we just lost half of our people.
No, we're up to 8 viewers now.
Really? I have a weird delay then.
Oh, we lost 2.
Focus on Biden.
Why are they leaving us?
Probably because of the chat we just had.
Yeah.
Sort of going into this that we're like, she's too ambitious.
You left. I understand.
She's not a team player, so she's got to be a team player tonight. And being a
so I made some predictions. We'll get through these predictions real quick.
She's got to help.
Oh yeah.
From
what do we got?
He didn't do last go round. So I think focusing on herself. I think
I forgot what I shit posted when I was at work this morning.
To go at this point, she's got plenty of time.
Okay.
To run for president.
Prediction number 1.
But tonight it's all about Joe Biden.
And I put this to a backdrop of the plexiglass dividers that's going to be between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence. These plexiglass dividers are all that will stop Kamala and Mike Pence from kissing when they learn about their shared love for locking up black kids. 2, Mike Pence will have to ask his wife in the audience for permission to speak to a woman, and then secondary permission based on her color. And then 3, Trump and the White House officials having COVID will dominate the entire discussion. That's the only real prediction I made. The others may or may not be jokes. I can't tell. It really depends on how this goes, I guess.
How this fucking go?
I assume.
Should have a
Mom, can I talk to Kamala?
It's Kamala. Don't you dare say it wrong. The shit libs are gonna get you, man.
Well, I can't believe I had brain worms with this.
It matters.
All right. It took me like I had to like repeat it to myself in my head several times before I got it down.
Kamala.
Yeah. And even then, I still like kind of stutter on the K.
Kamala.
Yeah. 3 Ks and then the Kamala.
It's weird. It's weird how that works.
In her political career.
What was I going to say? I lost track of it.
I don't know, but I see here that Gina is and Brad and probably all the people because we have such a huge fan base. No, actually, Julianne is a top fan. But Gina and Brad are Millistone followers. What does that mean?
getting off on
What is a minestrone?
right
I don't know.
Huge national platform.
Is it like it's like an Italian soup?
People watching this
is it? That's minestrone.
Let's go.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. The minestrone is something else. Yeah. Okay. Tell that lady and fella between you to shut up.
Yeah, these people are dweebs.
They are. Everyone's such a fucking nerd, man.
Interest in politics. I don't think interest in politics has ever been higher. I think that is a good thing.
And I had like a legitimate point I was going to make, and I just totally fucking lost it because we started shit posting IRL.
Did it have something to do with them kissing?
No.
In the 2000 presidential election, I still remember back to that.
Yeah, I was making a point about Kamala, and then you pronounced it wrong. I had to correct you so the shitlibs don't get us.
There's a difference between Al Gore and George.
Oh, they're milestone followers.
No, that's not right.
They're basically the same. Fast
forward. Mila Stone, yeah.
Oh, are we sure it's not Miles Tone?
Miles Tone? Oh, like they sound like people named Miles.
Yeah.
Which
makes, I mean, people named Miles do have a, kind of a dorky tone for sure.
But also for the country. And
I had a roommate named Miles once, and he insisted on referring to himself as Seth. And he had quit coke. He definitely had quit coke, and so he would smoke weed at night and then rearrange all of the furniture in the house in really bizarre ways, like really bizarre, creepy ways, where you would have like furniture in the middle of a hallway and like fucking chairs facing corners and stuff.
Mike Pence.
Oh, we got the clicking noise again.
That fucking clicking noise is back. It might be my.
It's the fan. It's the fan.
Do we know it's the fan?
Yeah.
Oh, the computer fan.
If you stop talking for a second, hold.
From COVID by then, they need a change.
Okay.
If nothing changes,
so it's only when we talk. So what's happening is we're breaking the threshold for
something in the next 20
for the audio filter.
But also it's the Raptors.
It's not suppressing quite enough, I think.
Vice president of the United States. So think of that. Keep that in your mind as you're watching this.
Well, we'll have to figure something out with this.
No, we don't.
I need to do. I'm not an audio engineer. Is the problem?
Kamala Harris is
I decided to be shitty about that.
Yeah.
That would be fine with her because
I know electrically how all this works. I don't know how the audio
when
works.
you watch it, remember who
where I start running into issues.
No question. No question.
That Donald Trump intermittent? Okay, yeah. So mostly the filter is working. Basically, what I need to do is I need to upgrade extensively the PC I'm using so that I can use like
sponsored by the nonpartisan
NVIDIA's like noise canceling thing on the video card that they have.
We're sure that it's not actually interference from me continuing to shitpost on my phone as this happens?
No, I'm pretty sure it's not.
In Kingsbury Hall tonight, we have a small and socially distant audience, and we've taken extra precautions during this pandemic. Among other things, everyone in the audience is required to wear a face mask, and the candidates will be seated 12 feet apart. The audience is enthusiastic about their candidates, but they've agreed to express
I love
that
YouTube,
enthusiasm
man.
only twice.
Love you.
Have a good night, buddy.
Fuck you. You're my friend.
When I
Have a good
introduce
night.
the candidates, please welcome California Senator Kamala Harris and Vice President Mike Pence.
Did she say it right?
Yes, I believe so. I don't know. You're paid to say it right, so she better.
I mean, these people always do what they're paid to do and they do it well.
Is the sound okay for everybody?
And get you interactive.
Oh, I just want to make sure. Because this is going to video, man. These are our beta testers.
They are betas.
Senator Harris and Vice President Pence, thank you for being here. We're meeting as President Trump and the First Lady continue to undergo treatment in Washington after testing positive
right off the bat.
COVID-19. We send our thoughts and prayers to them for their rapid and complete recovery and for the recovery of everyone afflicted by the coronavirus. The two campaigns and the Commission on Presidential Debates have agreed to the ground rules for tonight. I'm here to enforce them on behalf of the millions of Americans who are watching. One note. No one in either
Hey, Ford's in the chat. He's on Twitch. He's twitching.
My boy.
Or what questions I'll ask. This 90-minute debate will be divided into 9 segments of about 10 minutes each. I'll begin a segment by posing a question to each of you, sometimes the same question, sometimes a different question on the same topic. You will then have 2 minutes to answer without interruption by me or the other candidate. Then we'll take 6 minutes or so.
How do you divide 90 by 10?
At that point, although there will always be more to say, we'll move on to the next topic.
The point I was going to make about Kamala is at some point her and Pence are going to spar over who loves the police more.
Yeah,
These are tumultuous
times,
but
Julianne, I could not possibly fuck anyone for 90 minutes. That's
about the big issues facing our
country. It's a joke. It's a funny joke.
Let's begin with the ongoing pandemic that has cost our country so much.
Because I'm a big boy.
I'm a big boy.
The coronavirus
good
is
at
not
putting
under control. Over the
doing
past
my dick.
week, Johns Hopkins reports that 39 states have had more COVID cases over the past 7 days than in the week before. 9 states have set new records. Even if a vaccine is released soon, the next administration will face
Pence is
hard
like in his
choices.
head, like,
what would a Biden administration do in January?
I hope Mother doesn't see me talking to this colored lady.
Would you impose new lockdowns for businesses?
I don't think I've really ever heard Pence talk except for like a couple of words.
Yeah, it's always just
2 minutes to respond without.
No, I have heard some of his old like radio broadcasts.
Well, he used to be kind of raunchy.
American people have
he's always been
what is the greatest
wildly different flavors of piece of shit.
Presidential administration in the history of our country. And here are the facts. 210,000 dead people in our country in just the last several months. Over 7 million people who have contracted this disease.
Yeah.
1 in 5 businesses.
All lies anyways, right?
We're looking at frontline workers who have been treated like sacrificial workers. We are looking at over 30 million
Pence is already shaking his head. No, they're not sacrificial workers. They're expendable.
They're grease for the cogs.
Yeah, grease for the cogs. We need that.
The vice president and the president were informed about the nature of this pandemic. They were informed that it's lethal in consequence, that it is airborne, that it will affect young people, and that it would be contracted because it is airborne. And they knew what was happening, and they didn't tell you. Can you imagine if you knew on January 28th, as opposed to March 13th, what they knew, what you might have done to prepare? They knew, and they covered it up.
I would have gotten off this fucking planet, honestly.
The president said it was a hoax.
Well, I mean,
they minimized the seriousness.
At least they told us the truth that it would all be over in 14 days.
Yeah, that was good.
On the other side of his ledger,
memories.
if you don't.
That seems like fucking 2 years ago.
They still don't have a plan. They still don't have a plan. What Joe Biden does. And our plan is about what we need to do around a national strategy
a little bit.
For contact tracing, for testing, for administration of the vaccine, and making sure that it will be free for all.
Musk Emerald
That
rocket
is the
ship.
plan that Joe Biden has, and that I have, knowing that we have to get a hold of what has been going on, and we need to save our country. And Joe Biden is the best leader to do that. And frankly, this administration has forfeited their right to re-election based on this.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Vice President Pence, more than
she's got major valedictorian face.
Died of COVID-19.
Well, she's got her prosecutorial face on
right.
Is higher than
technically
that.
Bait source audio might be a little bit low. I'm gonna turn that up a little.
For instance, our death rate is 2.5 times that of Canada next door. You head the administration's coronavirus task force. Why is the U.S. death toll as a percentage of our population higher than that of almost every other wealthy country?
How's capitalism working out for you,
2 minutes to
Ford?
respond without interruption.
Susan, thank you. And I want to thank the Commission and the University of Utah for hosting this event. And Senator Harris,
this is in burning
to be on the stage with you.
Right. These introduction things are also.
Our nation has gone through a very challenging time this year.
Oh.
But I want the American people to know that from the very first day, President Donald Trump has put the health of America first. Before there were more than 5 cases in the United States, all people who had returned from China.
We were already
President
lying
Donald
about
Trump
it.
did what no other American president had ever done. And that was he suspended all travel from China, the second largest economy in the world. Now, Senator Joe Biden...
Doing what no other president has done doesn't mean that's a good thing.
He said it was
he's done a lot of things that no other president has done.
But I can tell you, having led the White House
catch
coronavirus
COVID.
task
That's
force,
one thing that no other president's ever done.
bought us invaluable time to stand up the greatest national mobilization since World War II. And I believe it saved hundreds of thousands of American lives. Because with that time, we were able to reinvent testing. More than 115 million tests have been done to date. We were able to see to the delivery of
directly the
billions of
president
supplies
sitting on his
doctors
golden
and
lab
nurses had
stool.
the resources support they needed. And we began really before the month of February was out to develop a vaccine and to develop medicines and therapeutics that have been saving lives all along the way. And under President Trump's leadership, Operation Warp Speed, we believe we'll have literally tens of millions of doses of a vaccine before the end of this year.
I like how he's
The
already
reality
admitted
is, when you look at the Biden plan, it reads an awful lot.
They knew about all this shit and they were
Like
trying to work
President
on
Trump and I and
solutions.
our task force
Apparently
are doing
before they
every
even
step
told us about
of
it,
the way.
before we had any good information.
Quite frankly, when I look at their plan that talks about advancing testing, creating new PPE, developing a vaccine, it looks a little bit like plagiarism, which is something Joe Biden knows a little bit about. I think the American people know that this is a president who has put the health of America first, and the American people, I believe with my heart, can be proud of the sacrifices they have made.
What a dumb, pointless jab at somebody that's not even in the room.
Absolutely. Right. Whatever the vice president is claiming the administration has done, clearly it hasn't worked. When you're looking at over 210,000 dead bodies in our country, American lives that have been lost, families that are grieving that loss. And you know, the vice president is the head of the task force.
If you look at his paper after the debate, it's just that S that we all drew in high school over and over again.
Thanks to Bob Woodward, we learned that they knew about it. And then when that was exposed, the vice president said, when asked, well, why didn't y'all tell anybody? He said, because the president wanted people to remain calm.
Well, let's get.
No, but Susan, this is important. And I want to add, but Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
I'm
speaking.
Yeah, you can have 15 more seconds, and then we'll give the Vice President a chance to respond.
So I want to ask the American people, how calm were you when you were panicked about where you're going to get your next roll of toilet paper? How calm were you when your kids were sent home from school and you didn't know when they could go back? How calm were you?
There was a period I was wiping with paper towels, and that was not a good experience.
Let's give Vice President Pence a chance to respond.
Rosy
Vice President,
red
you have
asshole,
1 minute
man.
to respond.
I got COVID, but I never had to wipe my ass with anything.
It's lost a loved one. And I want all of you to know that you'll always be
looking on the bright side, I guess.
And in our prayers.
Ford, yes, the dumb response is going to just be a news recap, because that's like all that they really have. They don't have any like
the sacrifices the American people have made.
Good.
The reality, if I may finish, Senator, the reality is Dr. Fauci said everything that he told the president in the Oval Office, the president told the American people. Now, President Trump, I will tell you, has boundless confidence in the American people, and he always spoke with confidence that we'd get through this together. But when you say it hasn't worked, when Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx and our medical experts came to us in the second week of March, they said if the president didn't take the unprecedented step of shutting down roughly half of the American economy, that we could lose 2.2 million Americans.
It's weird that they think
that's the reality.
Everything unprecedented is automatically good.
Right, Susan, we could still lose more than 200,000.
But then every time I hear it on NPR,
it's like
one life lost is
such a shitty word now.
The American people, I believe, deserve credit for the sacrifices that they have
made. More like unprecedented.
Family, doctors,
that's very unprecedented.
Thank you, Vice President Pence.
And I'm going to speak up on behalf of what the American people have done.
Vice President Pence, you were in the front row in a Rose Garden event 11 days ago at what seems to have been a super spreader event for senior administration and congressional officials. No social distancing, few masks, and now a cluster of coronavirus cases among those who were there. How can you expect Americans to follow the administration's safety guidelines to protect themselves from COVID when you at the White House have not been doing so?
Well, the American people have demonstrated over the last 8 months that when given the facts, they're willing to put the health of their families and their neighbors and people they don't even know first.
That is not what
President Trump
I was pretty sure he was going to say at risk. I was waiting for that. I was like, all right.
And their ability to take that information.
I mean, I thought he was going to spin it, but
but he didn't.
When we were losing,
he could have
a heartbreaking number of 2,500 Americans a day. We surged resources to New Jersey and New York and New Orleans and Detroit. We told the American people what needed to be done, and the American people made the sacrifices. When the outbreak in the Sun Belt happened this summer, again, Americans stepped forward. But the reality is the work of the President of the United States goes on. A vacancy on the Supreme Court of the United States has come upon us, and the President introduced Judge Amy Coney Barrett.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice President.
Cut him up.
Rose Garden event. There's been a great deal of speculation about it. My wife Karen and I were there and honored to be there. Many of the people who were at that event, Susan, actually were tested for coronavirus. And it was an outdoor event, which all of our scientists regularly and routinely advise. The difference here is
they advise that if you have an outdoor event, you're all sitting elbow to elbow with each other.
Interest of their health.
That's the doctor recommendation.
Kamala Harris consistently talk about mandates, and not just mandates with the coronavirus, but a government takeover of health care,
the
Green New Deal, all government control. We're about freedom and respecting the freedom of the American people.
Why are you just letting them overtalk?
Something last time?
Yeah.
No.
You respect the American people when you tell them the truth. You respect the American people when you have the courage to be a leader speaking of those things that you may not
This is already
want people to
devolving.
hear,
He's
but
already
they
starting
need
to
hear
talk
so
when
they
it's
can
her
protect
turn.
themselves.
Oh, he's been
But
doing
this
that.
administration
but now he's like
stood on
actively
information
responding.
that if you
He
had
has
as
that,
a
like, shitty
parent,
kid face
if you
going
had
on.
as a worker knowing you didn't have enough money saved up, and now you're standing in a food
the correct way to
line
pronounce that?
because
His wife's name is Karen.
of an administration that was unwilling
it's
to
like a
speak the
parody.
truth to the American people.
That's something on.
So let's talk about caring about the
No, it was
American people.
YouTube.
The American
It didn't-
people
it
have
didn't show up
sacrificed
on
far
the,
too
yeah,
I'm
much
not-
because of the incompetence of this administration. It is
Oh,
asking
okay.
too
No,
much
yeah,
of the people.
I just
No,
have a
Vice
It is
President.
asking too much of the people. That they would not be equipped with the information they need to help themselves to protect
Susan,
their
the
parents
President-
and their
I'm
children.
sorry. Kamala Harris, Senator Harris, I'm sorry.
It's fine, I'm Kamala.
No, you're Senator Harris to me. For life to get back to normal, Dr. Anthony Fauci and other experts say that most of the people who can be vaccinated need to be vaccinated. But half of Americans now say they wouldn't take a vaccine if it was released now. If the Trump administration approves a vaccine before or after the election, should Americans take it, and would you take it?
If the public health professionals, if Dr. Fauci, if the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'll be the first in line to take it. Absolutely.
No, you won't.
But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
Vice President Pence, there have been a lot of repercussions from this pandemic. In recent days, the president's diagnosis of COVID-19 has underscored the importance of the job that
I just think it's like statistically impossible for her to be the first.
That's our
in line.
second topic tonight, is the role of the vice president.
Yeah. I got her on
One
a
of you
very
will make history on
pedantic
January 20th. You will be the
stipulation.
vice president to the oldest president the United States has ever had. Donald Trump will be 74 years old on Inauguration Day. Joe Biden will be 78 years old. That already has raised concerns among some voters, concerns that have been sharpened by President Trump's hospitalization in recent days. Vice President Pence, have you had a conversation or reached an agreement with President Trump about safeguards or procedures when it comes to the issue of presidential disability? And if not,
hard
do
times
you think you
make
should? You have 2 minutes.
strong men
Well,
and
Susan,
also weak men
thank you.
sometimes.
I would like to go back.
People arbitrarily develop depending on their individual circumstances.
Because the reality is that we're going to have a vaccine, Senator, in record time, in unheard of time, in less than a year. We have
The
5
antibodies will
companies
last for
in
up to
phase
5
3
months.
clinical trials. And we're right now producing tens of millions of doses. So the fact that you continue to undermine public confidence in a vaccine, if the vaccine emerges during the Trump administration, I think is unconscionable. And Senator, I just ask you, stop playing politics with people's lives.
Is he
The
crying?
reality is that
He's
we will
about to,
have a
I think,
vaccine,
yeah.
I believe, before
He's
the
got a
end of
little
this year.
wetness around the edges.
And it will have the capacity to save countless American lives. And your continuous undermining of confidence in a vaccine is just, it's just unacceptable. And let me also say, the reality is when you talk about failure in this administration, we actually do know what failure looks like in a pandemic. It was 2009.
Oh my God, is he
Swine
really going to
flu arrived in
bring
the
up
United
H1N1?
It was so much worse than
ended up
this.
being
14,000
not being as
deaths.
lethal
That's
as the
fucking
coronavirus.
rules.
But before the end of the year, when Joe Biden was vice president of the United States, not 7.5 million people contracted the swine flu. 60 million Americans contracted the swine flu. If the swine flu had been as lethal as the coronavirus in 2009, when Joe Biden was vice president, we would have lost 2 million American lives. His own chief of staff,
hypothetical propositions are
would
like
say last year
useless, right?
that it was pure luck that they did, quote, everything possible wrong.
I mean, for all the things that you could pin on Biden and Obama, this is like the least of them. They left the strategic national stockpile empty.
Thanks,
they left an empty and hollow plan, but we still learned from it. And
I
think the American people, say again, can be proud of what we have done. And Senator, please stop undermining confidence in a vaccine.
Senator Harris, let me ask you the same question that I asked Vice President Pence, which is, have you had a conversation or reached an agreement with Vice President Biden about safeguards or procedures when it comes to the issue of presidential disability? And if not, and if you win the election next month,
disability.
Do you think
just call it being too old, too fucking old?
Right.
So let me tell you, first of all, the day I got the call from Joe Biden, it was actually a Zoom call, asking me to serve with him on this ticket was probably one of the most memorable days of my life.
At some point, Pence is going to call her out because she
my
went hard on Biden in one of the debates.
Came to the United States at the age of 19.
And him being a racist.
Gave birth to me at the age of 25.
And this is why Kamala...
Kaiser Hospital in Oakland.
Yeah, on Biden being a racist. And this is why Kamala is also a compromised candidate like Biden is, because Biden has the racism. And Kamala went in hard on him on the racism,
Joe
and
and I
now
were raised
has to do that. It was a debate
thing. He might not, because the Republicans are actually good at like brainwashing themselves and understanding that things are just
and about the importance of fighting for the dignity of all people.
But I think
Joe asked me to serve with him.
No, I think because they're trying to push
I have a career that included
Donald Trump is
the first woman district
best president for black people.
Where I created models of
Abraham
innovation
Lincoln
for law enforcement in terms of reform of the criminal justice system. I was elected the first woman of color and black woman to be elected Attorney General of the state of California, where I ran the second largest Department of Justice in the United States.
And then you sold your people out.
Second only to the United States Department of Justice. And there I took on everything from transnational criminal organizations to the big banks that were taking advantage of homeowners. To for-profit colleges.
That's why I stayed in the Marine Corps for 20 years, so I could change the system from the inside out. I didn't recognize it as like an ultimately failed system that could never change.
The United States Senate. I serve on the Senate Intelligence Committee, where I've been in regular receipt of classified information about threats to our nation and hotspots around the world. I've traveled the world. I've met with our soldiers in war zones.
Yeah, where are all the tech bros with like the bank robber apps?
Because he knows that we share.
Here's my idea for an app.
We share a purpose, which is about lifting up the American people. And after the 4 years that we have seen of Donald Trump unifying our country around our common
high-interest microloans.
Thank you, Senator Harris. You know, neither President Trump nor Vice President Biden has released a sort of detailed health information that had become the modern norm until the 2016 election. And in recent days,
that's kind of like my idea where
misleading answers or refusing
No, I was talking to.
And my question to each of you in turn is this information voters deserve to know?
Maybe,
Vice President Pence, would you like to go first?
They follow my Instagram, but anyways. And, we were talking about a tech bro app that would be called Counselor, and it would be COUN SLR. Yeah. And basically, it would pair you with somebody that had good health insurance and was like mentally sound.
And I do believe
so that they could go to therapy for you, and they would wear like a little earpiece, and you would like tell them how to describe your trauma to the therapist.
But the care of the president,
so the therapist could then like work you through it, and then you like they would be wearing a wire, so you hear what the therapist is saying,
will continue.
And that way you would be able to get therapy.
Right to know about the health and well-being
for whatever the copay is, plus like
but I'm just
fee for
extremely
the counselor driver.
More than
it's
a
good idea, but how am I going to receive my cock and ball torture therapy? My CBT.
Senator, I want to thank you and Joe Biden for your.
Sadly, the sex work industry
I also want to congratulate you.
Isn't legal here yet.
CBT
as
is
I did on that
everywhere. CBT is it's a major
the historic nature of your
that's a different kind of.
I never expected to be.
I think you're thinking about cognitive behavioral therapy.
I was wondering why all my girlfriends are going to cock and ball torture therapy.
Yeah, that is weird.
Before the American people in the midst
let's
of this
listen to the
challenging
debate.
year. The stakes have never been higher, but I think the choice has never been clearer.
I want to give Senator Harris a chance to respond to the same question I asked, which is, do voters have a right to know more detailed health information about presidential candidates and especially about presidents, especially when they're facing some kind of challenge?
Absolutely, and that's why Joe Biden has been so incredibly transparent, and certainly by contrast, the president has not, both in terms of health records, but also let's look at taxes. We now know, because of great investigative journalism, that Donald Trump paid $750 in
Not
taxes.
Congress, who
when I
could have
first
known
heard
all
about
this
it, I
years ago.
literally said, "You mean $750,000?" And it was like, no, $750.
Yeah.
We now know Donald
And I know
Trump
which one it
owes
is too.
Oh, I feel
and
it.
is in debt for $400 million. And just so everyone is clear, when we say in debt, it means you owe money to somebody. And it'd be really good to know.
Thanks, Kamala.
The President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief.
Yeah, we don't live under it every single fucking day.
People have a right to know what is influencing the president's decisions, and is he making those decisions on the best interest of the American people, of you, or self-interest? So, Susan, I'm glad you asked about transparency, because it has to be across the board. Joe has been incredibly transparent over many, many years. The one thing we all know about Joe, he puts it all out there. He is honest. He is forthright.
This is where
Donald
Pence is going to
Trump,
shoot back
has been
about his
covering
racism.
up everything.
Thank you, Senator Harris. I want to give you a chance to respond, Vice President.
Well, look, I respect the fact that Joe Biden spent 47 years in public life. I respect your public service as well.
Thank you.
The American people have a president.
When's the last time she championed overhauling the
job
tax
creator.
code again? Never.
He's paid
I think.
tens of millions of
I would need to
dollars in
do some
taxes.
back checking on that to be a little
Payroll
bit more
taxes,
confident, but I'm like
property
90%
taxes,
confident
created
it's never.
tens of thousands
Yeah,
of
this would be the
American jobs.
one moment
The
that would be
president
good
said
to
those
have
public
Warren
reports
up on the stage
were not
instead, because
accurate.
she'd actually have something
And the
decent to
president's
say
also
about that.
released
I would have been fine with Warren as a
stacks of
VP
financial
candidate because she
disclosures
hasn't done
reviewed
nearly as
because
much
the
harm
law
as Kamala
allows,
has.
but
And I
Steve
said
knows
it
that
even before
Joe
Kamala was
Biden,
picked. I was
47
saying,
years in
look,
public service
if
compared
Biden
to
picks
President
Warren,
Donald Trump,
I'll probably
who
vote for
brought
Biden.
all of that experience
But he
4 years
picked
ago.
top cop Kamala.
Turned this economy
And I
around by
can't do
cutting
that.
taxes,
I mean, like,
rolling
snake
back
emoji,
too far.
snake
Thank
emoji,
you,
snake
thank you,
emoji,
Vice
snake
President.
emoji, snake emoji,
fighting for
snake
free and
emoji,
fair
but
trade.
still Warren was my
And
second
all of
choice.
that's
Thank you,
not
Vice
lost
President.
if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
You know, that's a good
Snake
segue into
emoji.
our third topic, which is about the
And we're
economy.
burning, bro.
This has been another aspect
But,
of life
you know,
for
not
Americans that's
really.
been so affected by this
was.
coronavirus. We have
Was
a
it just water
jobs
now?
crisis
No.
brewing. On Friday, we learned that the unemployment
Oh, yeah.
declined to 7.9% in
For
September.
those of
But
you
the job
viewing,
growth
I have a
stalled, and
bowl
that
of
was before
ice
the
for
latest round of layoffs and
refills.
You gotta
furloughs
break up the
in the
whiskey a
airline
little bit.
industry at Disney and elsewhere.
Open up the flavors.
Hundreds
let
of
it bloom.
thousands of discouraged workers have stopped looking for work. Nearly 11 million jobs that existed at the beginning of the year haven't been replaced. Those hardest hit include
Work around the
Latinos,
microphone.
blacks, and women. Senator Harris, the Biden-Harris campaign has proposed new programs to
Sound like
boost the
taking
economy,
the
and you
lead
would
from the
pay
king
for
on
that
Broadway.
new spending by raising $4 trillion in taxes on wealthy individuals and corporations. Some economists warn that could curb entrepreneurial ventures that fuel growth and create jobs. Would raising taxes put the recovery at risk? And you have 2 minutes to answer uninterrupted.
Let's do a cheers, man.
Give me that ice bulldog.
On the issue of the economy, I think there couldn't be a more fundamental
I'm gonna put my
difference
fingers in.
I
between
broke
Donald
it up a
Trump
bit
and
with
Joe
my
Biden.
glass.
Thanks, Mel.
Joe Biden believes you measure the health and the strength of America's economy
The
based
health
on
and strength
the
of
health
America's
and the
economy.
strength
So the health and strength of America's
American
economy.
worker and the American family. On the other hand, you have Donald Trump, who
Oh,
measures the
delicious
strength
poison.
of the economy
The only thing that lets
based
me
on how
get
rich
through the
people are
day
doing,
anymore.
which is why he passed a
Every
tax
day.
bill
Sober October
benefiting
rules.
the top
Yeah,
1%
Sober
and the
October's going
biggest
great.
corporations of America,
Been fine
leading
for 5
to
days.
a $2 trillion deficit that the American people are going
It's
to have.
longer than I made it, technically.
On day one,
Even
Joe
though I was like
Biden
drinking wine
will
coolers
repeal
because I
that
was on
tax
call.
bill. He'll get rid of it.
That's
What
not
he'll do
something I
with the
should
money
admit
is
on air.
invest it in the American people. And through a plan that is about investing in infrastructure, something that Donald Trump said he would do. I remember hearing about
Yeah,
some
that was a big
infrastructure
thing
week.
for
I don't
him,
think it
for
ever
sure.
happened. But Joe Biden will do that. He'll invest in infrastructure. It's about upgrading our roads and bridges, but also investing in clean energy and renewable energy. Joe is going to invest that money in what we need to do around innovation. There was a time when our country believed in science and invested in research and development.
Hopefully you guys can see this. Gina D just said, sacrifice humans for a piece of line.
Use that money to invest
Our
in
buddy
education.
Sean made an excellent
So for example, for folks who want to go to a 2-year community college, it will be free. If you come from a family that makes less than $125,000,
yeah, it's the Oregon Trail like death screen, except it says
and across the board, we'll make
you have
sure
died for
that
the
if you have
economy.
student loan debt, it's cut by $10,000.
And then it's got Donald
That's
Trump.
how Joe Biden thinks about the economy, which is about
investing
in the
like
people of our country, as opposed to passing a tax bill, which had the benefit of letting American corporations go offshore to do their business.
You can see that on my Instagram.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can see that both our
Vice President
At
Pence, your
Benzo
administration
Rehab
has been
Dungeon.
predicting a rapid and
At
robust
Dink
recovery.
Deleuze.
But the latest economic report suggests that's not happening. Should Americans be braced for an economic comeback that is going to take not months, but a year or more? You have 2 minutes to answer uninterrupted.
When President Trump and I took office, America had gone through the slowest economic recovery since the Great Depression. It's when Joe Biden was vice president, they tried to tax and spend and regulate and bail our way back to a growing economy. President Trump cut taxes across the board. Despite what Senator Harris says, the average American family of four had $2,000 in savings in taxes. And with the rise in wages that occurred, most predominantly for blue-collar, hardworking Americans, the average household income for a family of four increased by $4,000 following President Trump's tax cuts.
You know what $4,000 does to somebody who's already like underwater?
On day one, Joe Biden.
I mean, a lot, but also very little. Yeah.
Yeah,
it does a lot.
Things.
Sort of.
I mean,
right. I mean, yeah, no, it doesn't help you the long term at all.
$4,000 a year is like fucking nothing.
Yeah, no,
we've
for
already
sure
added back 11.6 million.
I was just thinking about how dope it would be
because we had a president who cut taxes, rolled back rates.
Oh yeah.
But also, yeah, no, I totally get it. It's not going to help knock out my
and secured
like
$4 trillion
$85,000
from the Congress of the United States.
Hey, you just need that 20 more times, man.
Save 50
20 years from now, you'll
that
extra $4,000 you're making a month.
Spared no expense to help the American.
Oh, I mean. Sorry,
Joe
yeah.
Biden
Yeah, $4,000 you're making.
Want to raise taxes.
20 years from now, that'll add up into something.
$2 trillion Green New Deal.
Never mind, like,
which you were one of the original co-sponsors
interest or anything like that.
No, that doesn't matter.
They
at
want to
all.
abolish fossil fuels and ban fracking, which would cost hundreds of thousands of American
fuck
jobs all
bitches,
across
get
the
money,
heartland.
smoke trees.
And
Yeah,
Joe
you're right.
Biden
That's
wants
what
to
it
go
is.
back
No,
to
it's,
economic
the
surrender
most
to China.
powerful,
That when we took office, half of
most
our international
powerful
trade deficit was with China alone.
force in
Joe
the
Biden wants to
universe is
repeal
compound
all of the
interest.
tariffs that President Trump put into effect to fight for American
Yeah, that
jobs
sounds
and
right.
American workers.
He was
Joe
a
Biden
very,
says democracy
very
is on the
famous
ballot.
economist.
No,
Make
that's
no
actually
mistake
something he
about
said.
it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The
He was
American
a
economy,
funny
the
guy.
American
No, he was
comeback
funny.
is on
And his
the
dad
ballot
was for days.
with 4 more years of growth
Thank you.
and opportunity,
Thank you,
4
Vice
more years of President
Looking
Donald
this
Trump.
up.
2021
Thank
is
you,
the
Vice
biggest
President.
economic
But,
year in the history of this country.
Thank you, Vice President Pence. Senator Harris.
Well, I mean, I thought we saw enough of it in last week's debate, but I think this is supposed to be a debate based on fact and truth. And the truth and the fact is, Joe Biden has been very clear. He will not raise taxes on anybody who makes less than $400,000
He said he's
a
going
year.
to repeal the Trump tax cuts.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
I'm choosing to leave it.
speaking.
Oh, look at him get flustered. That rules.
Joe Biden said twice in the debate last week that he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts.
I hate her laugh.
That was tax
Yeah,
cuts that
Gina's
gave the
taxes
average
didn't
working
fucking change.
family
My taxes didn't change.
$2,000 in a tax
My
break
taxes
every single year.
That
changed because I
that
started
is
making more money
absolutely
and I
not
got
true.
taxed more.
That
Is he only
so I'm
cutting?
almost
Is he
making,
only
like,
going to
the
repeal
same
part
money
of
in
the
a lot of
Trump
ways?
tax?
Thanks for that.
If you don't mind letting me
I
finish,
appreciate that.
we can then have a conversation.
I jumped
okay?
up the tax
Please.
bracket,
Okay.
but not enough that I was like, actually.
Joe Biden will not raise taxes on anyone who makes less than $400,000
myself.
a year. He has been very clear about that. Joe Biden will not end
Until my
fracking.
my last promotion.
Joe Biden
I was actually like only
is the one
making
who,
like maybe
during
$2,000 more a
the
year
Great Recession,
Yeah.
was
after
responsible
like receiving a $10,000
for the
pay
Recovery
bump
Act
basically.
that brought America back.
Because
And now
the
the
tax,
Trump Pence
bracket I
administration
entered in.
wants to take credit
All this shit
when they rode the
no one
coattails
who
of
makes
Joe Biden's success
less than
for the economy that they had at the beginning of their term. Of course, now
people
the economy is a
shouldn't
complete
make even
disaster.
that much money, probably.
But Joe Biden on the
I'm okay with something like that.
Make $1 million. Fine. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, like if you equally distributed everything around, like
that is being compared to the
But
Great
the fact of the matter is that
on
we
the one
still
hand, you have Joe
people
Biden,
who are lucky to
was
make
responsible
30,000.
with President
Oh yeah,
Obama
no,
So
for the
the fact
Affordable
that like
Care Act,
they're being
which
like,
brought health care to
oh,
over
I mean,
20 million Americans and
$400,000
protected
a
people
year
with
is totally
pre-existing conditions.
reasonable,
And what it also
or
did
like
is it
relatively
saved those
untaxed rates.
families who otherwise
Yeah,
would
Like,
be
are you
bankrupt
crazy?
because of
Garbage,
hospital
yeah.
bills they could not afford. On
Not
the other
untaxed,
hand,
but you know what I'm
you have
saying.
Donald
Yeah.
Trump, who's in court right
Taxed at
now,
the same
trying to get rid of
Thank you, Senator
trying to
Harris.
get rid of the Affordable Care Act,
We're talking about
which means
six
that
figures. They're
you
talking
will
about
lose
doing it 4
protections
times.
if you have pre-existing conditions. And this is very important, Susan.
Yes,
and it's
but we
important.
need to give Vice President.
I'd just like to. He
So the
interrupted
first
me,
important
and I'd
thing
like
brought
to
up in
just
the
finish.
debate,
Please.
pre-existing conditions, as much as we hear
If you
about
have
it.
a pre-existing
let's
condition,
hear it again for pre-existing
heart disease,
conditions.
diabetes, breast
That's my favorite
cancer,
Nancy Pelosi
they're
quote.
coming
It's
for
so
you.
fucking funny. It's
If
so
you
fucking
love
amazing.
someone who has a pre-existing
It's nonsense.
condition,
Thank
Which
you,
is
they're
Senator
everyone,
coming
Harris.
by
for
the
you.
way.
If you are under the age of 26 on your parents' coverage, they're coming for you.
Senator Harris, thank you.
Coming
Let me
for
give
you.
you a chance.
I mean,
If you're
Well, I hope we have a chance to
no,
talk
yeah,
about
but
that
if
because
you're a
Obamacare
young
was a
black
disaster.
kid with an
made
ounce
it
of pot
I'm
in
coming
your,
for you.
yeah, I'm coming for you.
President Trump and I have a plan.
Dude, if you have an ounce of weed on you when you're a
improve
teenager,
healthcare
then
and
you're balling now.
Dude, I
pre-existing
don't know what
conditions
weed
for every
sizes are. A
American.
gram of
Yeah,
weed?
just
or-
go with
Look,
a gram.
Senator Harris, you're entitled
I'm
to your
not
own
a
opinion, but
weed
you're not
man.
entitled
I'll
to
sell
your
you a
own
gram
facts.
for what?
You yourself said on
$20
multiple occasions.
Yeah, I'm gonna
when
run
you were
that by
running for
people I
president,
know.
that you would ban fracking.
I would never buy weed.
Joe
Yeah,
Biden
I've never
would
bought weed in my
support
life,
you.
actually.
I would,
I've always
uh,
gotten it for free because I live in
guarantee
California.
Hell
that we
yeah,
will abolish
Wisconsin.
fossil
West
fuels.
Coast.
They have a $2 trillion version
Not
of
looking
the
at the
Green
right
New
camera.
Deal,
There we
Susan,
go.
that your newspaper, USA Today,
There's
said
only one
really
camera. I
wasn't
just,
that very different from the original Green New Deal.
keep forgetting I changed
More
it to the other
taxes,
monitor.
more regulation,
Green New Deal
banning
hysteria is
fracking,
really funny.
abolishing fossil
Yeah,
fuel,
the Green New
crushing
Deal
American
is
energy,
not.
and
A
economic
non-binding-
surrender.
Yeah, it's a non-binding
is a
contract. It's
prescription
just
for
like
economic
it's
decline. President Trump and I will
And
keep
also rules.
America growing.
Yeah, no, it's right in every way.
Right now, will
But it's
continue
not
for 4 more
it's not
years
binding
of President
anyway.
Donald
It's
Trump.
just
Thank you very, very
aspirational.
much, Vice President.
And guess
Because once
what?
again, you've
Guess what?
provided the perfect segue to a new
It would
topic,
hurt and it would
which is
suck.
climate change.
But if the Green New Deal
Vice President
included
Pence, I'd
actually
like to
getting
pose the
rid
first
of
question
fucking eating beef for everyone,
This year, we've seen
still do
record-setting
it.
hurricanes in the south.
I still agree with
Another
it.
one, Hurricane
because
Delta,
we need
is
to
now
do
threatening.
that, probably.
And we have seen record-setting
But that's the hysteria.
wildfires
Like, they're
in
going
the
to get rid of
West.
hamburgers,
Do you
right?
believe,
Yeah.
Hamburgers
as
and
the
cars.
scientific
And that's
community
not
has
what's going to
concluded,
happen.
It's not.
that
Not at
man-made
all.
climate change
But
has
it's
made
not.
wildfires
Yeah.
bigger, hotter, and more
I love
deadly.
beef.
Really,
That
we
made
could
hurricanes
maintain
wetter,
the beef industry
slower,
probably if
and
we
more
got rid of
damaging.
like the
You
other
have 2
9 out
minutes.
of 10 companies that produce
Thank you,
70% of the world.
First, I'm very proud of our record on the
Right.
environment and on
I mean, how
conservation.
about we just make beef more
According
expensive
to
and
all
do
of
it
the
more
best
responsibly,
estimates, our
and then
air
like,
and land are cleaner than any time
pay
ever
people
recorded.
better.
Our water
Yeah.
is among
You know?
the cleanest.
Yeah,
in the
there's
world.
multiple facets.
And just
to,
a little
to
while
fixing
ago, the
this.
president
Yeah.
signed the Outdoors Act,
Like,
the
instead of, like,
largest
cutting
investment
down
in our
the
public
entire
lands
forest
and public
to
parks.
deal with these little
in 100
shit
years.
machines.
So President Trump has made a commitment to
Well,
conservation.
another thing
of the
is,
environment.
I think we're
Now, with
learning
regard to climate change,
that
the climate is changing.
we could all probably work from home a lot of times.
Yeah, no shit.
What's the cause, and what do we do
Like
about it?
unless the job
President Trump has made it
specifically
clear that we're gonna
requires
continue
some
to
kind of
listen to
physical
science.
action, we're learning that
Now,
we,
Joe Biden
because of
and
necessity,
Kamala Harris
we're
will put
working
us
from
back
home.
in the
But it's
Paris
Today-
Climate
been the
Accord.
only
They
good thing
imposed
about
the Green
COVID
New
is that
Deal,
people are finally
which
understanding
would
that you don't need to
crush
drive to
American
work.
energy,
Yeah.
would increase the energy costs of American
I'm-
families.
I mean, like
their homes
early phase, I
literally
was
would
just as
crush
productive as I would
American
normally
jobs.
be
President
doing
Trump
half
and
and
I
half
believe that
because
the
every now and
progress
then,
that we
at
have
the time,
made
I had to like
in a
physically
cleaner
sign
environment
documents, and
has
now
been
we've gone
happening
digital with
precisely
everything.
because
I
we
could
have a
literally just
strong
like wake
free
up from
market
bed,
economy.
roll
You know,
over
what's
to
remarkable is
my work
The
computer,
United States has
and
reduced
do my
CO2
job
more
almost as effectively,
than the
like
countries
other
that
than
are
like
still
meetings
in the
where I
Paris
have to be
Climate
there in
Accord, but we've
person.
done it through
I
innovation
could probably do just about
And
fucking
we've done
everything
it through
from home.
natural gas and fracking.
By the way, people are going to
which,
complain about
Senator,
how much
the
we're
American
talking about
people
things
can
that aren't this
go
debate,
look at the
maybe,
record.
but
I know Joe Biden
You guys listen
says
to us
otherwise now, as you do.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
But the both of you
also,
are
I'm like,
committed to abolishing fossil
I started
fuel
drinking when I got
banning
home.
I haven't
so
been this
by
miserable in a
creating
long
the kind
fucking
of
time, so I'm going to do whatever the fuck I
innovation,
want.
We're actually steering toward a stronger.
You better fucking love us.
You
With
better
regard to
love me
wildfires,
for being me.
President
You
Trump
should
and
love
I
Mike
believe that
because it's
forest
the right thing to do.
management has to be front and center, and even Governor Gavin
That seems a
Newsom
little
from
different.
your state has agreed we've got to work on forest management. And with regard to hurricanes,
Okay,
Forest
so
management, what a weird
National
fucking talking
Oceanic
point that is.
Administration tells us
It's true to some extent, but also
Thank you, Vice President.
there are
Gavin
no more
Newsom.
hurricanes today than
Thank
there
you.
were
Yeah.
100
yeah,
years ago.
no, that dude
But
signed
many of
like
the
a fracking
climate
bill
alarms
Vice President
use
Pence,
hurricanes
last year
and
sometime,
wildfire
and
to try and
Thank
sell
you,
their
Vice
bill of
President
goods of a
Pence.
Green New Deal.
Yeah, I mean,
And President Trump and I are
he
gonna
seems
always
like a
be
good
working
leader
together
in like a
to
nominal
workers
sense,
first.
but yeah, I mean,
Senator Harris,
they're all
as
shit-lib
the
assholes.
Vice President mentioned,
yeah,
you co-sponsored
he's
the
like on
Congress.
the decent
But Vice
side of
President
shit
Biden
lib.
said in last
Hey.
week's debate that he does not
No
support
gods, no
the Green New
masters,
Deal.
I think is the way that
But if you look at the Biden-Harris campaign
Uh,
website, it
Walter.
describes the
Julianne,
Green
if
New
I'm
Deal
made to work
as a
from
crucial
home, I'll need
framework.
the boss to pay my
What
bills and
exactly
rent.
would be
Yeah,
the
I kinda
stance
agree
of a
with that.
I mean, do it as
Biden-Harris
write-offs.
administration
I mean, you
toward
can
the
probably
Green
in the
New
U.S.
Deal? You
in
have
a lot
2
of ways,
minutes
like your home
uninterrupted.
office.
Sure. So
She's
first
in
of all,
she's in
I
Great
will
Britain,
repeat,
no.
and
Yeah,
the
I know,
American
I know.
people
But they probably have something similar.
that Joe Biden
I mean, our
will
tax
not
code
ban
is fucking
fracking.
ridiculous.
That is a
but, so I
fact.
figure, yeah.
That is a fact.
Great Britain.
I
Great
will
Britain.
Great
repeat
Britain. But you have to say it in a
that
French
Joe
accent
Biden
because
has
that's
been
what
very
she's got.
clear that he
I don't know how
thinks
to do
about
that.
growing jobs,
just
which is
don't
why
pronounce
he
the
will
beautiful
not
letters.
increase taxes for anyone who makes less than $400,000 a year.
He's gonna get mad at
Joe
us.
Biden's
Yeah,
economic
just
plan,
pretend you're gagging
Moody's,
on something.
which is a reputable
Just
Wall
something.
Street firm,
Nothing weird.
has said will create 7 million more jobs than Donald Trump.
And
And part of those jobs that will be created by Joe
Oh,
Biden
Brett, oh,
are going to
Brett.
be about clean
That's
energy
so
and
racist.
renewable
I'm
energy.
sorry.
Because you see,
What did he
Joe
poke out there?
understands
What did he poke out
that
there?
the west
Oh,
coast
the
of
French
our
are
country
okay.
is burning, including my home state
Apart
of
from being
California.
responsible for every
Joe
war
sees
that's ever
what is
occurred.
happening on the
Julianne
Gulf
sent
states,
us a
which are being
middle finger
battered by
emoji.
storms.
That's what I
Joe
like.
has seen and talked with the farmers in Iowa, whose
very
entire
proud of
crops have been
something.
destroyed because of floods.
I think it's us.
And so
being
Joe
assholes.
believes, again, in science.
Or maybe
I'll
it's
tell
the
you
debate.
something. I served
Could be
for
both,
the
yeah.
rest of the Senate on the committee that's responsible for the environment. Do you know this administration took the word science off the website and then
Yeah, that
took
is
the
true,
phrase
which is
climate
hilarious.
change off the
Yeah.
website? This
Weird.
And I
we
mean,
have
like,
seen a
science
pattern
is
with this
fake
administration,
anyways,
which is
but-
they
I mean,
don't
that's
believe in
true,
science.
but like that's some
And
1984
Joe's
shit for
thing
real.
is
Like
about
it's
saying we're
literally
going to deal
1984
with it, but
shit.
we're also going to
People
create
use
jobs.
that
Donald Trump, when asked
in
about
a
the
lot of ways,
wildfires in
but that's
California,
literally what it
and the
was.
question was,
It's
you know,
amazing how
science
many
is telling
people
us
think
this.
that
You know what Donald Trump
1984
said?
is like some
Science doesn't
conservative.
So
Yeah, people.
let's talk about who
I mean,
is
people
prepared
just
to
interpret
lead
it
our
however they
country
want.
over the
People have
course of the
fucking
next 4
crazy
years
takes about
on what
Orwell.
is an
Just
existential
insane
threat
That's
takes
great.
to
about
us
Orwell.
as human beings.
We should do a
Joe
fucking
is about
podcast about
saying we're going
Orwell.
to invest
Yeah,
in
I
renewable
mean, we
energy,
should
which
start
is going to
with
be about the creation of millions of jobs.
his essay,
We will
Shooting an
achieve
Elephant.
net
Just in
zero
case
emissions by
anybody thought
2050,
that he was like
carbon neutral by
pro-imperialism
2035,
or
and Joe
like
has a plan.
pro-conservative or
Right.
pro.
This has been a lot of talk from
Dude,
the Trump
that mixed
administration,
with
and really it has
politics
been
in
to
the
go
English
backward
language,
instead of forward. We will also re-enter the
he's
climate
mad
agreement with
awesome
pride.
about
Senator Harris just said that climate change is an
supporting
existential threat.
the proletariat.
Vice President Pence,
Oh,
do you
yeah,
believe
for
that
sure.
climate change poses an existential threat?
And then we could probably. What was
As I said, Susan, the climate is changing. We'll
A Farewell to
follow the
Arms
science.
would be a good one.
But,
Right.
I don't
once
think
again,
1984 was a
Senator
mistake.
Harris,
I think we're
is
playing to
denying the
Gina.
Yeah.
fact that they're going to raise
I don't
taxes.
think 1984 was a
Every
mistake
American.
so
Joe
much
Biden
as
said
it just.
twice in the debate last week.
So
that on day
Orwell
one,
knew
he
that
was
everything
going
would
to
be
repeal
misinterpreted
tax
intentionally
cuts.
in a lot of ways,
Those
but I
tax
don't think
cuts
he knew
delivered
how bad it would
$2,000 in
get.
tax
yeah, I mean,
relief
people do the same
to
shit
the
with
average
Animal
family
Farm.
for
Yeah.
across America.
But also, I will.
With regard to banning fracking, I just recommend that people look
Maybe
at the
you
record.
brought
You
this up
yourself said repeatedly
for
that you
different
would ban
reasons,
fracking.
but
You
Farewell
were
to
the
Arms was
first
Hemingway.
Senate co-sponsor
Oh,
of the
shit.
Green New Deal.
Yeah, you're right.
And
It's
while
all
Joe
good. I mean,
Biden
I could
denied the
see
Green New
I
Deal,
could see
Susan
Orwell
Franken
writing
No, no,
parts of
no.
that for
Yeah.
sure.
The Green New Deal is on on their campaign website.
I mean, I do the same shit where I mix up Hemingway and Steinbeck a lot, which does not make fucking sense.
With AOC when she submitted it.
You know, this is completely alienated and divorced from the debate we're watching right now.
We're out here.
Maybe on our camping episode, we should talk about favorite books.
Yes. Reducing CO2 emissions. American innovation.
We'll be a little bit removed from the news world.
We have one in common now.
massive
actually,
$2
as of last
trillion
year.
Green New Deal that would
Speaking of
impose all
Steinbeck.
new mandates on American businesses.
You know?
Did you finally get around to?
Joe Biden wants us to
Thank you, Vice
retrofit
I read through it.
4 million
Fuck.
Thank you, Vice
Yeah, I
President.
forgot
I'm not
that.
blinking on
Yeah,
it.
I'm-
It makes
We're
no
both the
sense
biggest
to
idiots in the world.
cost jobs. President Trump
Thank you,
is
Vice
gonna
I'm
put
several
America first,
several
he's gonna
drinks
put
in as
jobs
well.
first, and we're going to take
It
care
was-
of our environment and follow the
To a
sun.
god,
To
to
a
a god
unknown.
To a god
Yeah.
unknown.
No, and I fucking love Steinbeck. Steinbeck
the
fucks
vice president
really
earlier
hard.
Yeah,
referred
Grapes of
to
Wrath is a little
as
bit
part
like
of
tedious, I think.
what he thinks is
But,
Oh, that's the point, though.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
But it
president's
But it
doesn't
is-
trade
stop
war
from being
with
tedious.
China.
yeah, it doesn't. It's like,
You
well, the
lost
point
that
is that
trade
it's
war.
tedious. Well,
You
yeah,
lost
it's
it.
still tedious.
What
But it
ended
doesn't
up
make.
happening
is one of my favorite books
is
of all
because of
fucking
a
time.
so-called
It's an
trade
incredible
war with
book.
China.
I read
America
it a long
lost
time ago. And I
300,000
got fuzzy
manufacturing jobs.
remembrances of it. But,
Well,
Farmers
to a god
have
unknown is
experienced
actually like it's
bankruptcy
a shorter,
because
more
of it.
succinct
We are in
kind
a
of
manufacturing
variant of it in a lot of
recession
ways, and
because
so
of it.
like it's like my
And
whole thing
when
where
we look
when
at
people ask me
where
if they
this
should read
administration has been,
Infinite Jest, I'm like, if
there
you
are
have the fucking
estimates
time
that
and
by
you want
the
to be
end
that
of
kind
the
of guy, then
term
do it.
of this
But instead you should read
they will have
Crying of Lot
lost
49.
more
It's the same kind of
jobs
thing where it's
than
like
almost
you could
any
read
other
Beast of
presidential
Eden, and actually you
administration.
should.
And the
But if you
American
don't want to
people
spend the
know what
time
I'm
and the energy
talking
and
about.
stuff, then
You know.
To a God
I
Unknown
think
is
about
phenomenal.
20-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know, we
All
have
right,
a
we should
20-year-old.
listen to Kamala.
20-something
Kamala.
who are
Kamala.
coming out of
Oh,
high school or
fuck,
college
God.
right now,
You
and
wanna
you're
try.
wondering, is there going to be a job there for me? We're looking at
God,
people who are
triggering.
trying to figure out how they're going to pay rent by the end of the month. Almost half of American renters are worried about whether they're going to be able to pay rent by the
I'm
end
just
of
going
the
to go ahead
month.
and point out
This is where the
closed
economy
fist
is in
with a
America
thumb,
right now,
like
and it
on
is
top of
because
it thing is a
of the
very practiced
catastrophe
political move.
and the failure
Oh,
of leadership
right.
of this
Yeah, yeah.
administration.
And she's been
Thank
doing
you,
that a
Senator
lot.
Harris.
Right,
Vice
because
President
you don't
Pence, let
want
me
to
give
point
just
to
15
people.
seconds to
Yeah.
respond because then I want to move on.
But
to
it's-
the-
It's very
Love to respond.
it's very
lost
affirming and
trade war with
also
China. Joe
also
Biden never fought it.
non-threatening at the same time
Joe
because
Biden's
it's like
been a cheerleader. for
I've got
communist
this
China through- over the
position,
last
but I've got my
several
thumb out,
decades.
so it's not like I'm trying to
And
strike
again,
at you.
Yeah, I
Senator
hate it
Harris, you're
though.
entitled to
No,
your
no, I
opinion,
hate it
not
too
entitled to your own
because
facts.
like
When Joe Biden was vice president, we lost
You know,
like, it's not even
200,000
effective, though, I
manufacturing
don't think.
jobs.
I
President
don't
Obama
think
said
that it
they were
actually
never
is
coming back.
politically
He said,
effective.
"We need a magic
I think
wand
it
to bring
hit
them back."
some people's
In our
A-frames.
first 3 years after
No,
the
I do
Pence
believe in the
regulation
hand
unleashed
gestures and
American
stuff as
energy,
being
Yeah.
incredibly
this
important, but I think
administration
that's a
saw
really weak one.
500,000
Thank you,
Vice
manufacturing
President
jobs
Pence.
created.
You
And that's
should.
exactly the kind of
I
growth
really feel
we'll
like
continue to see as
most
we bring our
public
nation
speaking should be
through
done
Thank
with
you,
open
Vice
this
hands.
pandemic.
And then
This
if you
Green
need to
New
make a
Deal,
fist, you just make a
massive
fucking
mandates,
fist,
Paris Climate
and you
Accord.
really do
It's
it.
going to kill jobs this time, just like it killed
But I'm
jobs.
a
Other
Other
big
than I just need
contrast
to respond very
fetishist, so.
briefly.
15 seconds and
Thank
then
you.
we'll move
Thank you.
Not everybody's into limit
Joe
experience.
Biden
Oh, man.
is responsible for
Gotta do a
saving
lot of talk about baton
America's
during that
auto
camping trip.
industry,
Oh,
and you
man,
voted
yeah.
against it. So let's set the record straight.
Since we'll be
Thank you.
finding our limits.
I'd like to
you know
talk
what I
about
mean?
That's the
China.
hope.
We
See
have
how
as our next
wide we can
topic,
spread ourselves.
we have no more complicated or consequential foreign
I'm
relationship
not
than
okay
the
with
one
pointing
with China.
necessarily. It depends
It
on
is
pointing.
a huge market for American
her
agricultural
Gina
goods.
said
It's
that
a
she's,
potential partner in dealing
She's
with
fine with
climate change
pointing.
in
She
North
seriously
Korea.
doesn't get it.
And in a video tonight,
And that's
President
cool,
Trump
honestly. That
again
doesn't,
blamed
like,
it for
set
the
you off. That's
coronavirus, saying
Shouldn't
China
be as
will
weak as
pay.
to, like,
Vice President Pence,
Oh,
how
God,
would
they're
you
pointing at
describe
me.
our fundamental relationship with China? Competitors, adversaries, enemies?
If you want to know how to do
You
this
have
kind of
2
shit,
minutes.
public
Thank you,
speaking and stuff, the Romans are the best people
Well, let
to
me,
look
before
to.
I
Don't listen to
leave
fucking
that, let
public,
me speak to voting records if I can.
like motivational speakers or anything.
Everybody knows
like
that
read
NAFTA
old
cost
Roman
literally
shit because they
thousands of
fucking
American
know. They
factories
know
to
so well.
We saw automotive jobs go south of the border. President Trump
Cicero
fought.
especially, I think.
To
Actually, I was going to
renegotiate
mention
that.
Cicero, but I didn't want
The
to.
United
Like,
States
park too
Mexico-Canada
hard.
agreement is
Cicero
not a law of
fucks.
the land.
So good.
American
Oh,
people
man,
deserve
yeah.
to know.
He was like a Bernie
Senator
Sanders
Kamala
of
Harris
his
was one
day.
of only
really.
10 members of the Senate.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna
The
say it.
US
But
Senate.
yeah, DM me
It
if
was
you
a
want some like
huge win
cool ass
for
Roman
American
advice for how to
auto
talk to
It
people.
was a huge win for American farmers,
Is there
especially
cool Cool-ass
Roman advice. I just spilled
rum
on
Senator,
myself.
you said it didn't go far enough on climate change.
It never does. 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 It never will.
Ahead of American auto workers and ahead of American jobs. The American people deserve to know that. It's probably why Newsweek magazine said that Kamala Harris was the most liberal member of the United States Senate in 2019. More liberal than Bernie Sanders, more liberal than any of the others in the United States Senate. So with regard to China, look, Susan, first and foremost,
I love this.
China is to blame for the coronavirus.
Oh, shut up, you bitch.
And President Trump is not happy about it. He's made that very clear. Made it clear again today. China and the World Health Organization did not play straight with the American people.
We're not going to bring protection
They did not
back.
let our personnel into China to get information on the coronavirus until the middle of February.
What does liberal mean?
Fortunately, President Trump,
what the fuck
in
does
dealing
liberal
with
mean
China
to these
from the
folks?
outset of this administration, standing up to China that had been taking advantage of America for decades.
Yeah, they use it in a very
Joe Biden's cheerleading for China.
false definition.
President Trump made that decision before the end of January to suspend all
because
travel
both of the
to China.
people on stage right
And
now
again,
are
American
liberals.
people deserve to know Joe Biden opposed President Trump's decision to suspend all travel.
And they're fighting from like different positions in the same upper right quadrant.
They're all fascists.
Thank you, Vice President.
We want to improve the relationship, but we're going to level the playing field, and we're going to hold
Vice President
China
Pence.
accountable for what they did to America
which is this
with the
dating
coronavirus.
app.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Senator Harris, let me ask you
Is
the
this like a
same
personal ad for
question
yourself, right?
that I
Yeah,
asked
it
the
is.
Vice President.
Use
How would you
the
describe
search option
our
that
federal
doesn't
Remember
exist.
when people had to
Are we
like put together
competitors,
videos for
adversaries,
dating? You know, like
enemies?
I don't remember
We'll
having
have
to do
2
that, but I
minutes.
do remember.
yeah, I don't remember having to do it, but
Okay,
I remember
you
seeing.
were a lonely adult in the 80s.
No, I wasn't.
Administration's
But
perspective
yeah,
approach to
one of the
China
things that
has
they
resulted
ask you
in
about
the
your
loss of
politics,
American lives,
and they only give
American
options for
jobs,
conservative and
and
liberal.
America's standing.
Right.
And so I'm listed as a liberal, and it really,
There's a weird
really bugs
obsession
me.
that
You can't do
President
like
Trump
an
has
other option.
They might have
Getting
an
rid of
other, but like
whatever
that's no. It's I think it's conservative, moderate,
was
or
achieved
liberal,
by
or no
President
answer.
Obama and Vice President.
And like I want people to know that I'm not
For
some
example,
conservative shithead.
They created
You know?
within
Well,
the
yeah,
White
but this
House
is how
an
you know that
office
like tech
that
bros are
basically was
completely
responsible
disconnected
for
from
monitoring
reality.
Oh yeah, I mean if you needed a hint.
They got
yeah.
away. They got rid of it.
But yeah, I swipe.
There
I
was
honestly, if
a
you're
team
conservative, I
of
might even swipe
disease
right on you. But if
experts
you're a moderate, it's a
that
hard
President
fucking
Obama
left.
and Vice President Biden dispatched to
I'll
China
hate fuck a conservative.
to
But
monitor
nothing can be
what
done with moderate.
is now predictable and what might happen. They pulled them out. We now are looking at 210,000 Americans who have lost their lives.
People always bring that up after talking
Let's
about
look
fucking.
at the jobs issue we mentioned before, the trade deal, the trade war, they wanted to call it, with China. It resulted in the loss of over 300 manufacturing jobs and a manufacturing recession, and the American consumer paying thousands of dollars more for goods because of that failed war that they called it. Then let's talk about standing. Pew, a reputable research firm, has done an analysis that shows that leaders of all of our formerly allied
I think I heard that song on the radio.
have now decided
Yeah, I wrote it.
that they hold in greater esteem and respect Xi Jinping, the head of the Chinese Communist Party, than they do Donald Trump, the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief of the United States. This is where
because
we are
Biden was doing
today.
she the whole time.
Because
It was
of a
really
failure
aggravating to
of
me.
leadership
Well,
by this
I mean, he still
administration.
calls them Orientals, probably. So.
We've seen
Dude, my
changes
parents do
in
that.
the-
Like,
Yeah, of course
in
they
the
do.
role of the
we
United
talk
States
about
in
like
terms of
getting
global
dinner or
leadership
something. Or like, do
over
you
the
like?
past 4
You
years.
still like Oriental
And
food,
of course,
right?
times do change.
Yeah, of course.
What's your
Dude,
definition?
Gramsci, fuck
We've
yeah,
seen strains
Gramsci and all through
with
his era,
China, of
guys.
course, as the Vice
Read that
President
shit.
mentioned.
Figure out
We've
ideology.
seen strains
Don't
with our
read Zizek.
traditional allies.
I,
and
uh,
elsewhere. What is
Funny,
your definition
funny
of the
side
role
note
of
about
American
Gramsci.
leadership in 2020?
I found a Nazgul in the
Joe
wild.
is,
Oh, God, yeah.
I love talking
I think
to
I
Joe
sent you
about
the
a lot
screenshot
of
it,
these
yeah.
And, Joe,
And
I think
his
he
profile
said it quite
picture
well.
was a
He says,
picture of
foreign
Gramsci.
policy, it might sound
And it was like-
complicated, but really it's relationships.
Everything that he
Just
was
think about
like
it as
reading about Gramsci was like a
And
complete
so we
misreading,
know this
and
in
then
our
he just
personal
like went down this
professional
weird
relationships.
nationalistic
You gotta
path
keep your
of
word to your
everything.
friends.
This is the funniest thing
Gotta be
because like
loyal to your
Gramsci's
friends. People
whole
who
thing
stood
was
with you,
about
gotta
like
stand with them.
hegemony.
Gotta know who your
Which is,
adversaries are.
Innately
them in check.
evasive at the very least
what we have
when it
seen
comes
with Donald
to
Trump
things like nationalism.
Yeah.
Is that
It's crazy
he
that
has
there's so many
betrayed
fucking
our
like Marxist-Leninists around who believe that we should have some kind of like
embraced
state-born
dictators
communism
around the world.
that will
Let's take, for
innately
example,
function, and
Russia.
then like maybe
So
you're a giant
Russia, I
optimist
serve on the
dissolve
Intelligence
because the
Committee
fact that like
of the United States Senate.
Gramsci and all these people that are like
America's
kind of
intelligence
foundational
community told
current
us
understanding of it
Russia
have given us
interfered
so
in the
many
election
reasons
as
not to
president of the
trust
United
any
States in
kind of hegemonic
2016
system
and
like
is
the
playing
state.
in 2020.
Sure.
Christopher Wray, the director
Getting into it.
of the FBI, said the same. But Donald Trump, the commander-in-chief of the United States of America,
I'm
prefers to take the
interpolating
word of Vladimir
the
Putin
Althusser
over
joke.
the word of the American intelligence community. You look at our friends at NATO. He has walked away from agreements.
At
You can
NATO,
look
like
at the
it's a
Iran
fucking,
nuclear deal. which now has put us in a position where we are less safe because they are building up what might end up being a significant nuclear arsenal.
Oh, don't you fucking... Are you fucking serious?
See, this is why I hate Kamala.
Around the country. And because of
I'm only calling Pence a bitch. He's the only person I can call a bitch in this debate. For my own rules.
Isolationism.
But
he pulled us out and has made America less safe. So, Susan, it's about relationships. And the thing that has always been the strength of our nation, in addition to our great military, has been that we keep our word. But Donald Trump doesn't understand that because he doesn't understand
that post I made a while back when it came out that
thank you,
Colin
Senator
Powell
Harris.
was
endorsing
Biden.
Oh God.
Donald Trump has weapons of mass destruction, and we must ensure that they get into Biden's hands or something like that.
When Joe Biden was vice president, promised to do
that. Yeah, but I thought it was a very good post.
With our allies. But we've been demanding. NATO is now contributing more to our common defense than ever before, thanks to President Trump's
this bullshit, too. We're draining the poor even more, like even when it comes to countries.
And
Norway's got their oil money that'll never run out.
Against those who cause harm. You know, when President Trump came into office, ISIS had captured an area.
Oh my fucking God! ISIS talk. I did not expect ISIS
President
talk.
Trump.
No, they gotta get back to the greatest hits.
And our armed forces destroyed.
I like how that's greatest hits now. Like it's still like a fresh thing in my head.
Without one American.
Yeah. So the
al-Baghdadi was
the meme I made was a picture of Colin Powell at the UN.
Yeah.
Obviously back in the Iraq War lead up. And it says Donald Trump has WMDs, and we must make sure we give them to Joe Biden.
You unironically need to send that to
responsible for Kayla Miller's murder. Were brought to justice in the United States.
I stand with Biden.
Jihadi John was.
Oh yeah,
you need to send that to them, and then ask for credit.
The reality
is, fuck up.
When Joe Biden was vice president, we had an opportunity.
This is what we care about.
Save Kayla Miller.
Internet clout.
Breaks my heart to reflect on it, but the military came into the Oval Office, presented a plan. They said they knew where Kayla was. Baghdadi had held her for 18 months, abused her mercilessly.
He does have elf ears. When I was looking at that picture of the Rose Garden event that they had, I almost didn't recognize him because in the picture he looks a little bit like Roger Stone. Now you're seeing it, right?
No, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
Yeah.
He's just too much of a wuss to have a back tattoo.
Thank you,
Vice President. They destroyed the ISIS caliphate. And talk about re-entering the Iran nuclear deal. I mean, the last administration transferred $1.8 billion to the leading state sponsor of terrorism. President Donald Trump got us out of the deal.
Thank you, Vice President Pence.
And when Qasem Soleimani was traveling to harm Americans, President Donald Trump took him
Vice
out.
President Pence.
And America
we need to have a
safer,
fucking symphony to play them out or something.
Safer, and the American people
Instead of just
President Donald Trump
bring back the shepherd's crook that pulls you off stage.
The people who are most famously capable of running their fucking mouths nonstop, and we don't have a fucking cut mic option.
First of all, to the Mueller family, I know about your daughter's case, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I have no comments on
what happened to her is awful, and it should have never happened. And I know Joe feels the same way, and I know that President Obama feels the same way. But you mentioned Soleimani. Let's start there. So after the strike on Soleimani.
Who was a fucking bae, by the way? That guy was
on our
hot.
troops in Iraq.
He was a sexy fuck. Are you serious?
And
have you seen that guy? He's a fox.
They suffered serious brain injuries, and do you know what Donald Trump dismissed them as? Headaches. And this is about a pattern.
This whole thing is dumb as fuck.
Where he has referred
so fucking dumb
to our men who are serving in our military as suckers and losers. Donald Trump, who went to Arlington Cemetery.
Jack off
stood
on the
above the graves of our fallen heroes.
Just pissing on the eternal flame.
What's in it for them? Because, of course, he only thinks about what's in it for him. Let's take what he said about John McCain, a great American hero.
Who, to be fair, did have a cluster of brainworms.
And Donald Trump says he doesn't deserve to be called a hero
funny because he died
was a prisoner of war. take.
By the way, it's funny that Trump got COVID, and it
when
is
you want to talk
kind of
about
funny that
who is the current commander-in-chief and what they care about and what they don't care about.
Fuck you if you
Public
think otherwise.
reporting that Russia had bounties on the heads
You're wrong.
of American soldiers. And you know what a bounty is? It's somebody
I'm
puts
going to
a
go ahead
price
and
on your
interject
head
here.
and they will pay it if you are killed. And Donald Trump had talked at least six times
the
to
thought
Vladimir
and
Putin
or hypothesis
and never
that
brought up the
the
subject.
average
Joe Biden would never do that.
Afghani
Joe
insurgent
Biden would,
needed
Joe
a Russian
Biden
bounty
would hold
in order
Russia
to want to kill
account
American
for
troops.
any
Yeah,
threat
no shit.
to our
It's
nation's security or to our
pretty
troops
fucking far out of field, if you
sacrificing
ask
their
me.
lives
Bonus
for
points,
the
though,
sake of
man.
our democracy.
Bonus points.
Thank you, Senator Harris. This is
It's,
such an important issue, but we have other important issues as well.
And
I want to make
it
sure we
ended
have a
up
chance
coming
to
out
really talk about
a lot of the
Shut the fuck
She
up,
has
Pence.
15
Not you, I'm
seconds
sorry.
Yeah,
because
no,
we're
I
trying
a
to
lot of the
I'm sorry, but Vice President, but you've had more time
a lot
than
of
she's
the
had.
generals
So
that
far.
like initially like
President Donald
expressed some doubt about it eventually
regarding
came out like
men and
pretty
women
hard
of our
against it,
armed
like,
forces.
yeah, we're
So-
not sure that this ever
I'm sorry,
happened.
Vice
My
President
son is
Pence.
a captain in the United
Yes.
States Marine Corps. My son-in-law
Ugh,
is
get
deployed
out of the
in
Marine
United
Corps.
States Navy. I can assure all of you, with sons and daughters serving in our military, President Donald Trump not only respects but reveres all of those who serve in
So
our
much
armed
his
forces.
bones
Any
grow in his
suggestion
body,
otherwise is
full
ridiculous.
of
Thank you,
love
Vice
and
President
respect.
Pence.
The
Vice
American
President
people
Pence,
deserve, Susan,
Vice
the
President
American
Pence,
people
I
deserve to
didn't,
know.
Vice President Pence, I did not, excuse me,
Susan, the
I did
American
not
people
create
deserve
the
to know
rules for tonight.
Joe Biden.
Your campaigns agreed to the rules for tonight's debate with the Commission on Presidential Debates. I'm here to enforce them, which involves moving from one topic to another, giving roughly equal time to both of you, which is what I'm trying very hard to do.
Go right ahead.
So I want to go ahead and move to the next topic, which is an important one,
descending into
as
a
the
shit
last
show.
topic was,
Right.
and that is the
I mean, it's,
Supreme
at
Court.
least they took more time than the presidential.
They did
On
take
Monday,
more
the
time.
Senate
How far
Judiciary
along
Committee
are
is
we?
scheduled to
We've only
open
got like
hearings
30
on
minutes
Amy
left.
Coney
Yeah.
Barrett's nomination to the Supreme Court. Senator Harris, you'll be there as a member of the committee. Her confirmation would cement the
deflate the
court's
military,
conservative
yeah.
majority
Thank you,
and
Gina,
make it
for that.
likely open to more abortion
delete the
restrictions,
military.
even to
Am I right?
overturning the land
Got 'em.
ruling. Access to abortion would then be up to the states.
Fuck.
Vice President
Oh,
Pence,
God.
you're the former governor of Indiana. If Roe v. Wade
I'm
is
so
overturned,
glad I'm eventually
what would you
like,
want Indiana
sooner
to
than I
do?
think gonna
Would you
age
want
out
your
of
home
fucking.
state to ban all abortions? You
Just never have to
raise
worry about
another
making
threat.
babies ever
Well,
again.
thank you for the question, but I'll use a little bit of my time to respond to that very important
Shut
issue.
up. Just
The American
talk.
people deserve to know.
Shut up and talk.
Qasem Soleimani, the Iranian general, was responsible for
Who
the
is
death of
hot.
hundreds of
Even
Americans.
Who is a guy I would fuck?
When the opportunity came,
I'm not
you
gay.
saw him headed to
Not that
Baghdad.
gay. I'm not very gay.
Americans,
But
President
I would
Trump
fuck Soleimani. I
Didn't
would.
hesitate.
Quote me on that.
Yeah, he was
Send it
a
to my
pretty
boss.
good looking dude.
I don't have
But you
a
deserve
boss.
to know that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris actually criticized
There were a couple of American generals who like
Soleimani.
before
It's really
the
inexplicable.
assassination
but
of
with regard to Joe
Soleimani like
Biden,
this.
it's explainable. Because history records that
Basically
Joe
expressed
Biden
that
actually
like, yeah,
opposed
he
the
did
rape
exactly
of
what
Osama
we
bin
would
Laden.
do if he was
It's
put in this,
absolutely
if we were put in
essential
the same position.
that we have a
Like
commander-in-chief
everybody that they
who will
think
not
that
hesitate to
Soleimani
act to protect American
is
life
bad for
and to
is
protect
exactly
American
what an
service members,
American
and that's what you
general
have with
would do in
President
the same
Donald Trump.
situation.
Right, of course.
Now, with
And
regard
they
to the
all
Supreme Court of the
understood it
United States,
intellectually.
let me say,
Of
President
course,
Trump
he
and I could not be
would,
more
you know,
enthusiastic
maintain some kind
about the
of like
opportunity to see Judge
underground
Amy Coney
resistance.
Right.
become Justice Amy Coney.
It's weird. We killed him because he
She's
was
a brilliant
good
woman.
general.
Yeah, we killed him because he did
So,
exactly
yeah.
what he
Lifetime
should do as a
experience
general.
and a sizable American family. The Supreme Court of the
Meritocracy
United
is a lie,
States.
friends.
And
You will
our
get
hope
drunk
is that
straight.
hearing next week,
Yeah,
unlike Justice
right.
Kavanaugh received with treatment from
Or
you
they
and
won't
others,
hire you because you're
but
smart.
we hope she gets
Yeah.
a fair hearing. And we particularly hope that we don't see the kind of attacks on her Christian faith that we saw.
Oh! Fuck you!
Democrat chairman
Fuck
of the
you! I'm not an
Judiciary
internet
Committee
atheist kid, but
when-
fuck you.
when
That's so fucking
Judge Barrett
dumb.
was being confirmed for the Court of Appeals.
What a
expressed
floppy
concern
dick
that the
shithead.
dogma of her faith lived loudly in her.
Limp penis
Durban, Illinois,
motherfucker.
said that
Limp
it was
dong
a concern.
motherfucker.
Have a good
Senator, I
night,
know one of our judicial nominees.
Julianne.
you
Oh,
actually
and-
yeah, fuck
attacked
Italians,
because
fuck
they were
Australians,
members of
fuck the
Catholic
French.
Knights of
Oh,
Columbus.
man.
Fuck you.
Just because
So
the
many
Knights of
Fuck
enemies.
me.
Columbus
Fuck,
holds
fuck
pro-life
Gina. Fuck
views.
Mike.
Thank you.
Fuck
Thank you, Vice
Ford.
President
So
Pence. Your
my
time
hope
is
is
up.
that when the hearing takes place,
Love
that,
you.
Thank you, Vice
Bye.
President Pence.
that Judge Amy Coney Barrett will be respected.
Thank you,
treated
Vice President
respectfully,
won't.
Pence.
voted
She will
and
not be
confirmed to the
respected.
Supreme Supreme Court of the United States.
Senator Harris,
what needs to
you're
happen
the senator
is
from and former
we have
Attorney
to
General of
dismantle
California.
the
So let me
Supreme
ask you a
Court.
parallel
Yes,
question.
you know my takes on this.
Vice President.
Yeah.
If Roe v.
Our
Wade is
takes.
overturned,
That's
what would
our
you want?
takes.
These motherfuckers know our
Would you
takes
want your
on
home
this.
state
I don't
to
know. We
have no
disagree on some things,
restrictions
so it's
on
good
access
to
to
clarify.
And you
Yeah,
have
not very often.
uninterrupted.
Thank you, Susan. First of all,
No, you're
Joe
gonna be
Biden and I
interrupted.
are
Fuck
both
you.
people of faith,
It's gonna happen.
and it's insulting to suggest that we
Wait,
would
what's insulting? I'm not even
knock
listening.
anyone for their faith. And in fact, Joe, if
Yeah, no,
elected,
fuck
will
you,
be
Joe.
only the second
We should knock some people for their
practicing
like
Catholic,
weird cult
as
affiliation.
president of the
though,
United
We
right?
should knock people for their faith.
on the issue
should.
of this nomination.
Kinda. I mean,
Joe and
the
I are
government
very
shouldn't.
clear, as are the majority of the
Yeah,
American
yeah,
people.
but we should.
We are 27
We should tell people that
days
they are
before
saying
the
dumb
decision
bullshit.
about who will be the next president of the United States.
That's why.
And before when this
fucking
conversation has come up,
religion
it's
is
been
so
about
often,
election
like,
year or election time. We're
fuck the
literally
monad. You're saying that?
over 4 million people have
Garan de
voted.
Reek.
I don't know who the fuck
People
you are, but
in
that's
the
fucking
process of
funny.
voting right now.
That is pretty funny.
And so
Yeah.
Joe has been very
But,
clear, as the American
Yeah,
people
I mean,
are.
it's just.
Let the American people
Oh my God,
fill
there's two
that
people
seat in
watching
the
now.
White
Oh, God.
House, and then we'll fill
Uh,
that seat on the
I
United
don't
States
even
Supreme
remember
Court.
what
And
I'm
to your
saying.
point, Susan, the issues before us couldn't be more serious. There's the issue of choice.
Oh, yeah, there's a
and
reason
I will
that,
always fight for a
that
woman's right to
religious
make a
texts
decision
are
about
always
her
coded
own
in, like,
body. It should be her decision
poetics
and not
stuff.
that of Donald
Yeah.
Trump
Because, like,
and the Vice
they
President
should
Michael
be
Pence.
aesthetic,
But
and if
let's
they're not
also look
aesthetic
at what
enough
else
to be
is before
convincing, then
the
you
court.
fuck off.
It's the Affordable Care Act.
And
Like,
nothing about
literally
Christian,
in the
like
midst of a
American
public
Christianity,
health
is
pandemic,
aesthetic in any way.
No.
when
You
over
guys are fucking.
pretty
210,000
fucking dumb.
people have
It's
died,
gross.
boorish.
and 7
It's
million
boorish,
people
yeah. Boorish is a good
probably
word
have
for it,
what
yeah.
will be in the
I grew
future
up in it, so
considered
I
a
recognize
pre-existing
it.
condition because
Same.
you
I mean,
contracted
same in
the
weird
virus.
ways, but same.
Donald Trump is in court right now trying to get
Yeah,
rid
you
of the
grew up as
Affordable
Baptist,
Care Act.
though.
And I said it before,
Right?
and it bears repeating.
I don't like
Which is-
admitting
This
it.
means
Well, I mean, I grew up as a Lutheran.
that there will be no
and
more
then a Methodist,
protections if
and
they
then also
win
1,000 other
for
things.
people
So it's
with
like,
pre-existing
More like a
conditions.
Methodist.
This
Am I
You know
right?
what I mean?
Methodist
That over
think,
20
though,
million
like if I had to
people
sit
will
around
lose
with any
your
kind of Christians, it
coverage.
would be Methodist because they like
It
refuse
means
to
that
talk
if
about
you're
hell and
under
they
the
will
age of
clap for
26,
farmers.
you can't stay on your parents' coverage anymore.
There's nothing more awkward than
And
being
here's the
like a
thing.
soloist musician
The
for
contrast
fucking
couldn't be more
Methodists because
clear.
they're not
They're
allowed to
trying to
clap
get
for
rid of
you.
the Affordable Care. Joe Biden is saying,
They
let's
do
expand
sometimes.
coverage.
And that is
Give
the
you a
end of
choice
my
public
performance.
option or
Thank you.
private
Yes,
coverage.
and I do it
Let's
because
bring
it is
down
ministry and not
premium
because I'm being
Let's
paid
lower
to want
Medicare
your
eligibility
attention.
to 60.
Thank you, Senator.
That's true leadership.
Meth and head.
You know,
All right,
Meth
you
and
Gina.
mentioned
Meth and head.
earlier, Vice President Pence, that the president was committed.
Whenever I share
to
those like yearly
maintaining
pictures of me in like
protections for
Christmas
people with pre-existing conditions.
dress, talking about singing in a
But
church,
you do have this
and
court
I think
case
it's
that you are
ironic and
supporting,
funny.
your
It's
administration
always at a
supporting,
Methodist
that would
church.
strike down the Affordable Care Act. The president says, President Trump says that he's going to protect people with pre-existing conditions, but he has not
just enough
explained
to pay for like
how
half of a
he
Christmas
would
gift.
do that. And that was one of the toughest nuts to crack when they were passing the Affordable Care Act. So tell us
Tough nut to
specifically, how would your administration protect Americans with
I got some tough
pre-existing
nuts.
conditions to have access to affordable insurance
Not a
if the
good thing.
Affordable Care Act is struck down?
Not very soft.
Well, thank you, Susan. But let me just say, addressing your very first question, I couldn't be more proud to serve as vice president to a president who stands without apology for the sanctity of human life. I'm pro-life. I don't apologize for it. And this is another one of those
Apologize for
cases
that.
where there's such a
You're
dramatic contrast. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris support taxpayer funding of abortion all the way up to the moment of birth. Late-term abortion. They want to increase
not
funding
true.
to Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Of America.
Surprise.
Right.
Now, for our part, I would never presume how Judge Amy Coney Barrett would rule on the Supreme Court.
Except
of the
she
United
literally
States, but,
paid for like
we'll
a
continue to
full-page
stand strong
ad
for the right to life.
about
when you speak
not
about
supporting
the Supreme Court, though, I think
abortion.
the American people really deserve an answer, Senator Harris. Are you and Joe Biden going to pack the court if Judge
I hope
Amy
so.
Coney Barrett is confirmed?
She's not going to answer, but I
mean,
hope
Yeah,
so.
no, she's
29
gonna dodge all
vacancies
around
on the
this.
Supreme
Pack the
Court
court
for
until it
presidential
collapses
election
into
years
itself
from
and
George
goes
Washington
away.
to
Yeah.
Barack Obama. Presidents
me
have
a fucking
nominated in
Supreme
all
Court
29
member.
cases.
Make everyone a Supreme Court
But
member.
your
That way
party
we're
is
Yeah, but
both.
but especially
openly
me.
advocating
Yeah,
and
most of
the
it's fine.
Supreme Court, which has had 9 seats for 150
I won't even wear the
years.
fucking robes.
If you don't
I'm just
get
gonna
your
show
way,
up
this
in
is
like a
classic
fucking band
case of if you
t-shirt
can't
and
win
some
by the
jeans
rules,
and like
you're going to change the rules.
talk
Now,
shit on
you've refused to
everybody.
answer
No,
the question.
This is such a
Joe
funny
Biden
thing.
It's
like,
question.
by the way,
No.
It's the
Are you
fact
and
that
Joe
it becomes
Biden,
more
if somehow
democratic
you
the
win
more
this
people you
election,
add.
Yep.
Hack the
I mean, not the
Supreme Court to
Congress
get
or the
your
Senate
way.
are in any way
I'm
more
so glad
democratic
we went
than.
through a little history lesson.
I mean,
Let's
they
do
kind of
that a
are
little
in
more.
some ways. than the Supreme Court.
In
like,
1864.
I'd like you to answer the question.
Yes.
Give us our valedictorian history lesson.
In 1864.
I mean, it's good. This is the one.
I was the girl on the bus.
I think certainly the president, I assume if you also, Mr. Vice President, is Abraham Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Abraham Lincoln was up for re-election.
It was, I remember.
And it was 27 days before the election. And a seat became open on the United States Supreme Court. Abraham Lincoln's party was in charge not only of the White House, but the Senate. But Honest Abe said it's not the right thing to do. The American people deserve to make the decision about who will be the next president of the United States. And then that person can select who will serve for a lifetime on the highest court of our land. And so Joe and I
this is good. This is good.
The American people are voting
It's good for the average voter.
And it should be their decision.
For sure. Because it's all like arbitrary and bullshitty.
Serve on this most important body
this is good.
For a lifetime.
But you're way smarter than the average.
Senator Harris.
People, Susan, are voting.
No, I'm more black-pilled than
If you don't get your way in this nomination.
Gina, must we have a Supreme Court? No, technically no.
The American people deserve a straight answer. And if you haven't figured it out yet, the straight answer is
checks and balance system isn't real, and it is only there so that it can stop
I got to tell you, people across this country
should only have elected officials representing us on a more or less like
the Biden-Harris ticket. Come November 3rd,
basis, where everyone votes up towards the top. And if we need to have some kind of supreme leader, which we don't.
Let's talk about
By the way, if we do not need a president, then it should be through direct democracy.
So
and everything else should be determined by representatives.
The Trump-Pence administration has been,
and per the Constitution,
we have a government, but yeah, go on.
And I've witnessed
per the Constitution, the Supreme Court has no like seat allotment.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
So even like from a constitutionalist basis, like the idea of the Supreme Court could like
by legal professional organizations
go away.
Right, and the people that are like the most
we could have zero Supreme Court.
Right.
And do you know?
And the people that are like the real literalists about the Supreme Court are the people that are going to be the most resistant to that, which is very funny.
Appointed to the Court of Appeals for lifetime
appointments. We really want to pay attention to what the Constitution really says.
This is what they've been doing. You want to talk about packing a court? Let's have that discussion.
All right, thank you.
Let's have that
Senator.
discussion.
Let's go on and talk about the issue of
outside
racial
of unprecedented.
justice.
That's my
I just want the
least
record
favorite
reflection
phrase.
never answered.
Let's have that discussion. I say, knowing full well we'll never have that discussion.
Yeah, exactly. That my entire purpose in life right now is to avoid that
In
discussion.
March, Breonna Taylor, a 26-year-old emergency room technician in Louisville, was shot and killed after police officers executing a search warrant in a narcotics investigation broke into her apartment. The police said they identified themselves. Taylor's boyfriend said he didn't hear them do that. He used a gun registered to him to fire a shot, which wounded an officer. The officers then fired more than 20 rounds into the apartment. They say they were acting in self-defense. None of them have been indicted in connection with her death. Senator Harris, in the case of Breonna Taylor, was justice done? You have 2 minutes.
I don't believe so. And I've talked with Breonna's mother, Tamika Palmer, and her family. And
so I'm just going to throw this in real quick. Whatever Kamala's response is.
She had as her life goal to become
Kamala
a nurse. She wanted
went
to
hard on
EMT
the arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor thing.
Out on the street, so she could then
not the George Floyd case. She didn't really go too hard on that. But she went hard on the Breonna Taylor thing.
Tragically and violently.
Knowing full well
and it just it brings me to
everything that the officers did is technically legal, and that there's no way they're ever going to be indicted. Which they really weren't. The only officer that got indicted was indicted because he fired rounds that didn't hit her
under the knee of an armed.
So she knew full well that this is never going to happen. So this is the one that she like really harped on.
And people around our country.
And it's really just all like a
of every age, of
it's just an optics thing, you know.
Perfect strangers to each other, marched shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, fighting.
I mean, why do I hate
for
this?
us to finally achieve that ideal?
Well, you hate it because you know she's disingenuous about it. And you know that she, if given the chance to, would lock up all these people.
And I believe strongly.
So,
that first of all, we are
you hate it because what she's saying is technically right, but she doesn't mean any bit of it.
For the values that we hold dear, including the fight to achieve our ideals. And that's why Joe Biden and I have said on this subject, look, and I'm a former career prosecutor. I know what I'm talking about.
We know you're a
former prosecutor.
We
I
need
locked up
reform
black kids.
of our policing in America and our criminal justice system, which is why Joe and I will immediately ban chokeholds and
I felt bad. I had ethical qualms with working for a Home Depot.
So, hold on. She says that Joe Biden is going to ban chokeholds. Is that the only way that people are killed?
It's the primary one, right?
No, I think it's being shot to death.
And we will decriminalize marijuana.
She's responding to a question about Breonna Taylor, who was shot to death, and she's saying what Joe Biden is going to do
Has she mentioned
is he's going to outlaw chokeholds. Chokeholds didn't kill Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor would have been fine if she wasn't shot to death.
In the case of Breonna Taylor, was justice done? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Fuck off.
Well, our heart breaks for the loss of any innocent American.
I mean, did she mention qualified immunity a single time?
No.
Exactly.
But I trust our justice system.
Because she likes
a grand jury that
refuses what she's into.
And it really is remarkable that as a former prosecutor, you would assume that an impaneled grand jury looking at all the evidence got it wrong. But you're entitled to your opinion, Senator. I think, look, and with regard to George Floyd, there's no excuse for what happened to George Floyd. And justice will be served. But there's also no excuse
really don't want to hear his
rioting
response.
and looting.
Yeah, same. I
really don't want for it. We're going to do it.
I mean, it really
we
is
signed up for this, so we're going to do
Flora
it.
Westbrook is with us here tonight in Salt Lake City. Just a few weeks ago, I stood at what used to be her salon. Was burned to the ground by rioters and looters. And Flora is still trying to put her life back together. And I must tell you, this presumption that you hear consistently from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, that America is systemically racist, and that, as Joe Biden said, that he believes that law enforcement has an implicit bias against minorities, is a great insight.
Systemic is going to mean
to the men and women who serve in law enforcement.
He's got a fly on his head. Look,
I was gonna ask
he's got a fly on his head. He's got a fly on his head.
That's going to be a meme. That's going to meme.
That's going to be a meme.
That's going to meme really hard.
Like a fly on shit. I already made it. I already made the joke.
Brought together a group of Republicans and Democrats. Senator Harris,
I love the delay now because I get to see it twice.
Yeah.
And then you filibustered Senator.
I mean, I can still see this fly is still on his head.
Gina, come on by. We'll do a distance drinking.
Look, we don't have to choose between supporting law enforcement, improving public safety, and supporting our African
Beelzebub. Beelzebub, the Lord of Flies.
No, but I think it's also Beelzebub because it's like a bee.
Vice President Pence,
No, it's a fly though. That doesn't make any
triple
sense.
entendre.
Thank you, Vice
The
President.
fly is still on his fucking head.
That's so good.
It won't fucking leave.
That gets me off so good. Hold on, I need to.
I will not sit here
I
and be
print
lectured by the
screen
Vice President on
just
what
in
it
case
means
no one
to
is a
enforce the
genius
laws
like
of our
we
country.
are.
I am the only one
Everybody's
on
a
the stage.
genius like we are. We're
Was
fucking
personally
retarded.
No, we are the dumbest people in the world.
Everything from
but
child sexual assault to
somehow
homicide.
Yeah, no, I just remember a lot of political facts. You remember a lot of theory
For
facts.
taking
That's how we
advantage of
work.
America's homelands.
I
I'm the
watch a
only
lot of
one on
movies
this
and I
stage
think about naming them. And I'm like,
prosecuted for
oh, this
private
specific
colleges
scene
for
should
taking
be like
advantage
available
of our
as like a
veterans.
thing on Google Images.
And the
it
reality
never
of this is
Yeah, of course
that
So I
we
had
are
to- I had to
talking
screen
about
cap.
an election
It's still
in
there.
7
Yeah,
days.
no, it's cleaning.
The
It's like a
president
fly
of the
on
United
shit,
States
man.
took a debate stage in front of
Gina,
7
I'm not
million
kidding.
Americans and refused
Yeah, come
to
over. Have
condemn
a
white
distance drink with
supremacists.
us.
Yeah.
And
You're one of my OG
it wasn't
friends
like
at
he
this
didn't
point.
have a chance.
Oh, dang.
Yes.
He didn't do
I've
it,
been
and
friends
then
with
he
Gina
doubled
for
down.
many years.
And then he said,
Very
when
cool. She went to one of my
pressed,
concerts.
Stand back.
Stuck to the hairspray.
Stand back. And
That's probably true.
this is a part of
It's
a
just dying.
pattern
It's dying from the fumes.
of Donald Trump's.
Do you think it's a...
He called
Oh, it flew away.
no,
Oh.
and
Flies come
criminals.
back.
Flies come
He
back.
instituted as his first act a
Oh, yeah,
Muslim
Austin.
ban. He on the issue of Charlottesville,
The piece of shit.
where people were peacefully protesting
Different Austin.
the need for racial justice,
Oh, okay.
where a
The
young
good
woman was
one,
killed. And
I mean,
on the
the
other side,
whatever
there were
one.
neo-Nazis carrying tiki torches, shouting racial epithets.
Nobody's watching.
Gina and I are watching.
4 viewers.
Slurs. And Donald Trump, when asked about it, said there were fine people.
Well, mine shows
this is who we have
YouTube
as the president
as
of the United States. In America, you deserve better. Joe Biden will be a president who brings our country together.
Senator Harris.
And
I want the fly to come back.
Beauty in our diversity.
God damn it.
Bring back the fly.
Bring back so much more in common than what separates us.
Vice President Pence, let me give
That's
you
true.
a minute.
And you should have gotten to that earlier and really harped on it,
very
but
much.
you didn't. So.
You know, I think this is one of the things that makes people dislike the media so much in this country, Susan, is that you selectively edit, just like Senator Harris did, comments that President Trump
Comrade Fly, I agree.
on our side of the aisle make. I mean, Senator Harris conveniently omitted, after the president made comments about people on either side of the debate over monuments, he condemned the KKK, neo-Nazis, and white supremacists, and has done so repeatedly. You're concerned that he doesn't.
He has not done that repeatedly.
President Trump
He has
has
not
Jewish
ever
culture.
once done that, I think.
His daughter and son-in-law are Jewish.
Oh,
This
fuck
is a man
off!
who
That's so funny, man.
respects and cherishes all of the American people. But you
Jews
talk
are
about
the
having
perfect
personally prosecuted. I'm glad you
outlet
brought
for
up that,
fascism
Senator.
Thank
because
you.
of the fact that
That's-
you can
I
be
really need to make this point.
culturally
When you
or
were
genetically Jewish,
DA,
and you
Right.
can kind
in
of choose
San
which one you
Francisco,
hate and which
when
one
you
you're
left
okay
office,
with.
Yeah,
And
for
so
sure.
you can be superficially
African-Americans
like
are 19
racist against
times
and also
more
not
likely
racist
to be
against them,
prosecuted
which is
for
why we
minor
have
drug
specifically the
offenses
term
than whites and
anti-Semites.
Hispanics.
Right.
When you were in California,
Thank you,
you
Vice President.
I have plenty of
increased
Jewish friends.
the disproportionate incarceration of
Thank
blacks
you.
in California.
There we go. He
You
brought
did
it up. I knew
nothing
he
on
would.
criminal
It happened.
justice
I knew he
reform in
would because
California.
Kamala
That
is
motherfucker.
a compromised candidate.
Capitol Hill. I mean, the reality is your record speaks
no,
for
it's
itself.
not like-
President Trump
yeah.
and I have fought.
No, it's
for
right,
criminal
Kamala. This is the
justice
one
Thank
right
you,
thing
Vice
that Pence has
President.
said the
education,
entire
choice, and
time,
opportunities for African
and you're a
Americans, all of our
shithead.
Thank you,
members.
sir.
Fuck you.
And we'll do it for 4 months.
Thank you. You know, there is no more important issue than the final issue that we're going to talk about tonight, and that is the issue of the election
But
itself.
Susan, he attacked
I'm
my
sorry,
record.
you
I
talked
would like
about
to
COVID,
continue.
and I think that's a
Let me
little
give
bit
you
more
30
important
seconds
than
because, because we're
the
running out of
I
time.
appreciate that. First of all,
election is not the
having
most
served
important thing.
as the Attorney General
Nothing's the
of the
most
state of
important thing, but certainly
California,
not that.
the work
COVID is
that I did
probably
is
more
a model
important, I would
of what
think.
our nation
No
needs
shit.
to do,
But,
and we will be
you know,
able to
maybe
do
getting-
under a Joe Biden
Why?
presidency. Our agenda includes what this administration has failed to do. It will be about not only instituting a ban on chokeholds and carotid holes.
Thank you.
Not only.
Thank you,
Shut
Senator.
I would like to go through.
These are
Gina,
points
the,
you
Yeah,
made
the
earlier
distance-
in the hour, and
the
I wanna
distance
talk
drink
about
can
the
be
election
via
itself
whatever
before
you
we
want
have
it
to
But
go.
I want to talk about
Yeah, you can
the
come
connection
over, we can
between
do
what
Skype.
Joe and I will do
It's-
and my
it's-
record, which
Who
includes
cares?
I
I'm
was the
sad and I
first
need drink.
Yeah,
civil
we're
rights officer
just
to
lonely
institute
human
a
beings that want to
requirement
talk to
that
people.
my agents
Why
will
we're
wear
doing
body
this.
cameras and keep them on full time. We were
Yeah, by
the
the way,
first to initiate a requirement that there would be a training for law enforcement on implicit bias because, yes, Joe Biden and I recognize that implicit bias does exist, Mr. Vice President, contrary to
Gonna
what
get
you
that
may
ice cream
believe.
talk.
We did the
Almost
work
on.
Yeah.
of instituting
I think I'm
reforms
on
that
my
were
last
about
drink for
investing
a
in
bit.
reentry. This is the
Where's
work
the ice
that
then?
we have done and the work we will do going forward.
I'm
And
weakening
again,
now.
I will not be lectured by the Vice President on our record of what we have done in terms of law enforcement and keeping our communities safe and a commitment to reforming the
That
criminal
would
justice
be
system of
like a
America.
good time
Thank
to bring
you,
up
Senator
Gina.
Harris. And I'd like to pose I'd like you to respond first to the question on our final topic, the election itself. President Trump has several times refused to commit himself to a peaceful transfer of power after the election. If your ticket wins and President Trump refuses to accept a peaceful transfer of power, what steps would you and Vice
bad
President
link.
Biden then take?
Bad
What would
link.
happen?
It's a beautiful
next?
picture.
You
though.
have 2
It
minutes.
is such a great picture. And I think
So
it
I'll
just-
tell
it
you,
just needs to be seen more often.
Joe and
think.
I are, I think, particularly
What's going on
proud of
here?
the coalition
area
that we've
right
built around our
there.
campaign. We probably have one
There's
of the
Kamala
broadest
Harris.
coalitions of folks
There's,
that you've
Border
ever seen in a
Patrol.
presidential race. Of course, we have
Border
the
Patrol.
support of Democrats, but also
Police. She's wearing a police
independents and
jacket.
Republicans. In fact,
Oh, gee,
7 members of
Ah.
President George W. Bush.
I wish there was a picture of
for
like
supporting our ticket. We have
Pence,
the
like,
support of
herb stomping a black
Colin
person or
Powell,
something like because
Cindy McCain.
that's
John
a little bit more
Kasich,
his aesthetic, I think.
Over 500
Right.
generals, retired generals, and former national security experts and advisors are supporting our campaign. And I believe they are doing that because they know that Joe Biden has a deep, deep-seated commitment to fight for our democracy and to fight for the integrity of our democracy.
Oh, she's doing the fist with the thumb on top thing again.
To the White House.
Which I still disagree with. And
we believe in
no, I totally disagree with it as well. But it's a thing I learned in one of my speech classes.
Please vote early. Come up with a plan to vote.
No,
IWillVote.com. You can also go.
I learned it in my speech class.
Or you do the thumb.
We have
you make the fist, but you put the thumb on top.
Thumb is dumb.
To make the decision.
Well, the thumb is dumb, but what it is it makes it look like you're not making a fist to hit somebody.
And it is within our power.
Yeah, we can stay outside and stuff. It's cool. I also have fucking antibodies because I got COVID already. But,
and we will not let anyone subvert our democracy.
With what Donald Trump has been doing, as he did on the debate stage last week, when again in front of 70 million
That's just
people.
Lasagna.
I mean, I don't like it more than pizza. I like pizza.
I like pizza, okay. I like pizza.
Joe Biden,
I do. I have plenty of
debate stage because clearly Donald Trump doesn't think he can run on a record. That's a failed record. Joe Biden on that stage said, "Hey, just please vote." So I'll repeat what Joe said. Please vote.
Thank you, Senator. Vice President Pence, President Trump has several times refused to commit himself to a peaceful transfer of power after the election.
Yeah, we're barely listening to this at this point.
If Vice President Biden is declared the winner and President Trump refuses
dude, I'm out of this shit.
What would be your role and responsibility as Vice President? What would you personally do? You have 2 minutes.
Well, Susan, first and foremost, I think we're going to win this election.
Fuck you.
Because while Joe Biden and Kamala Harris rattle off,
he might be right.
He might be right. Yeah.
The establishment,
but also fuck you.
An establishment Joe Biden's been a part of for 47 years. President Donald Trump has launched a movement of everyday Americans from every walk of life, and I have every confidence that this,
every walk of life except for people who are brown, black,
we see this president's record.
The people that keep the country together and actually
revive our economy through tax cuts and rolling back regulation, fighting for fair trade, unleashing American energy.
Rolling back regulation is bad, by the way.
Yeah, it is. And also, if you want to understand
and I think
a lot of race and production theory a lot better, and ecology stuff, and just pretty much everything, it's an incredible book. A Billion Black Anthropocenes or None by Catherine Yusuf is one of my favorites, and applies to this in a weird way, and you should.
It's amazing.
Now,
I'm actually going to order that, I think.
The FBI actually spied on
You should absolutely should.
My campaign.
Yeah, I'm illiterate, but I'm willing to
have it on your shelf.
Yeah, I'm willing to have it on my shelf.
The FBI documenting that those allegations were coming from the Hillary Clinton campaign.
And shut up. You still can't drop Hillary Clinton.
What you put the country through for...
I mean, to be fair, Hillary Clinton can't drop Hillary Clinton. So
that's also true. Dude, that podcast is going to rule.
Yeah, I think...
and then Senator Harris...
This is going to end in a couple of minutes, I think. And we should go through a couple of little news items.
Over a phone call.
Right.
Since we won't be doing another podcast, regular episode.
Circumstances.
Oh yeah, until the camping trip.
Yeah, we're going to do the camping trip.
Well, maybe we should come out with one this weekend then, because the camping trip we won't have it
Joe
out
Biden and Kamala Harris from changing the rules,
late
Thursday probably.
Create a massive
well, Thursday I guess is okay.
And we have a free and fair election.
We'll do one this weekend.
Have confidence in it, and I believe in all my heart that President Donald Trump's going to be reelected.
And when we do it.
You know,
I've
written all the questions that I've asked tonight.
This whole last week, I had to go sober because I was on call.
Read a question.
I'm just going to be shit-faced because I'm going to be shit-faced.
The Utah Debate Commission asked students in the state to write essays about what they would like to ask you. And I want to close tonight's debate with the question posed by Brecklin Brown. She's an 8th grader at Springville Junior High in Springville.
I hate this
so
much!
Yes.
God damn it, I fucking hate it! I hate it so much, I can't fucking describe it! I'm gonna talk over the whole question because I refuse! I refuse!
I'm gonna cut your mic. I'm gonna cut your mic.
Fuck you! Cut my mic! Come on!
Trying to tear each other down. If our leaders can't get
why are they tearing each other down? Of course, we could have guessed that was what
they found the one centrist 8th grader.
Because all 8th graders are centrists. They're all fucking dumbass little kids that are saying like, why is everyone fighting? I don't get it because I don't understand politics. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you and your stupid fucking teacher, and fuck your parents, and fuck everyone. This is such bullshit. No!
Listen to the response.
I started following the news when I was very young. And in America...
Oh, yeah. He started off as this weird, like...
open exchange.
He was that weird kid.
And we celebrate that.
I don't like bugs. I just like news.
Literally the freest and most prosperous nation in the history of the world. But I would tell you that don't assume that what you're seeing on your local news networks is synonymous with the American people. You know, I look at the relationship between Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the late justice who we just lost from the Supreme Court, and the late Justice Antonin Scalia.
Never mind. Fuck on.
One very liberal, one very conservative. But what's been learned since her passing was the two of them,
both were liberals,
families, were the very closest of friends. I mean, here in America, we can disagree. We can debate vigorously, as Senator Harris and I have on this stage tonight. But when the debate is over, we come together as Americans. And that's what people do in big cities and small towns all across this country. So I just want to encourage you, Brecklin. I want to tell you that we're going to work every day to have government as good as our people.
There are some disagreements that cannot be held.
Love a good debate
with each other.
Love a good argument.
In which I would be completely happy seeing both of these people under the
especially learned that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they disagree with it.
Senator Harris, what would you say to Brecklin?
First of all, I
love your name
from our young leaders, and when I hear
our young leaders,
when I hear your words, Brecklin, I know our future is bright because it is that perspective on who we are.
I was a little girl on that bus.
It's a sign of leadership, and it's something we should all aspire to be. And that, that brings me to Joe. Joe Biden.
Funny?
One of the reasons that Joe decided
but as we're watching this, I'm getting a bunch of texts right now about past podcasts.
It's so troubling.
Well, no one watches this.
That's fair.
It's very funny. Actually, it's very good.
And division. What propelled Joe to run for president was to see that over the course of the last 4 years, what
nobody likes
described has been happening. Joe has a long-standing reputation of working across the aisle and working in a bipartisan way.
Fuck you.
And that's what he's going to do as president. Joe
you need
Biden
to do what the fucking Republicans do and just crush your enemies.
Lifting people up.
We don't need to work across the aisle. We need to destroy the other aisle.
You have to know Joe's story to know that Joe has known pain.
And then keep moving leftward from there.
And he has known love.
Exactly.
And so, Brecklin, when you think about the future,
I
do believe the
what is best
right.
in life?
And it will be because of your leadership.
Crush your enemies,
be
to see them driven before you, and to hear the laments of their women.
Through their vote.
That's very good.
And we get engaged in this election.
I think that's almost verbatim, right?
It was Lamentations, but you're
yes. I didn't say Lamentations.
You said laments, but it's the same.
To determine the future of our country and what its leadership looks like.
Thank you, Senator Harris.
Well, this is what I've been saying for a while, is that the Democratic Party needs some kind of like shrewd political maneuvering, right?
They need a rapping Viking
all the Americans who watch this.
Absolutely, yeah.
They just need some
skillful Viking,
scary, dick swinging shithead that like does what Trump does, but he's not such a
The second
like a
presidential debate is next week on October 15th.
Oh God, they're still gonna have a presidential debate, even though Donald Trump is fucking infected with COVID.
Oh right. But no, I figured it out.
So there you have two candidates
the Democratic
refraining from the fireworks, certainly a contrast to President Trump's
and I know he's in the
last week on our first presidential debate.
Let me silence
was much more civil.
Garbage. There we go.
Right. But Dan Bilzerian.
Oh Jesus! Fuck.
Can be the libertarian candidate, I guess. I guess he wouldn't be very good for the. But here's the thing: no one can ever be a good Dem candidate because the Dems suck. They think bad things and dumb things, and they're weak and.
all they can realistically do is like half measures, right?
Right.
Because they're beholden to certain I'm gonna be honest with you. I might not get the Nancy Pelosi video out in time, but
do you have a set date for that?
I'm trying for this weekend.
Yeah, all right.
But
I mean, I have lectures to put out too, so
yeah. But she's got a huge amount of funding from private health insurers and medical professionals, which is basically the pharmaceutical lobbyists.
Right.
And it's like you can never expect her to go against those massive donors, right?
Well, I mean, her
no, but like, and the Democratic Party is beholden to all of that.
Yeah.
So all they're ever gonna do is half measures. They're gonna be like, hey, look, guys, while they're talking to their pharmaceutical donors. Gina, have a good night.
Good night, Gina.
While they're talking to their pharmaceutical donors, and be like, "Hey guys, we gotta give a little ground here, but you'll still make profit." That's all they're ever gonna do.
Right.
Is cater to these donors, the donor class.
Fuck, man. Get her name. God damn it. Keep talking.
That's really all I had on that subject.
But who is that congresswoman that keeps on like really harassing people with like a whiteboard and keeps
Katie Porter.
Katie Porter, yeah.
Yeah, no, she's great.
We need more of that shit.
Yeah, we need more Katie Porters.
I don't know her politics like really deep.
She's fairly progressive
in those questions.
Yeah, and she grills people pretty hard.
And you'd think that would be their whole fucking thing,
right?
Grilling people.
Because everybody that sees that goes, "Yes, Queen."
Right.
And that's like the one instance where they should be like, "Yes, Queen."
And just like
how, whereas you got like Nancy Pelosi like tearing up the State of the Union, and it's like, "Oh, yes, Queen," and then she immediately votes for everything that Donald Trump said should happen.
Right.
Like, that's not real resistance. The Katie Porter resistance, the AOC resistance. I know you're like on the fence about whether or not she'll turn out to be okay.
Yeah, but no, I'm willing to be optimistic at the moment.
But no, these are the resistances that we should be championing.
Right.
Right.
No, and totally. And then like there were even what the fuck is his name? There was the Democrat that he was really popular for a while. And then he got in trouble for like he like grabbed a woman when she was sleeping. He like assaulted her in some way. He was a comedian.
He was a comedian. Oh fuck!
But he was fantastic on.
He was, yeah.
In actual on the floor, but then he apparently was an asshole outside of that. But like. He was fantastic about that, and he's kind of been forgotten for like maybe justifiable reasons. But fuck, what's his name?
I think I might be pulling it up.
On like a helicopter or some shit.
Al Franken.
Al Franken, yes. I remember loving all of this shit that like Al Franken was talking about around like 2016 early and 2017. And then, while other Republicans were getting in trouble for like straight up raping people, he got in trouble.
Yeah, he got in trouble for like being a little bit handsy, which
is
he like still wrong.
Someone while they were sleeping, or he thought they were sleeping or something, which is wrong. Which is totally wrong, and he shouldn't have done it. And it's good that he's ultimately out of his position. But it's,
that same
we can learn from the way that he spoke on the floor.
Yes. And that same precedent wasn't like applied to the rest of like the Republicans,
right?
Well,
yeah, because they were literally raping people,
right? Yeah,
yeah. So that was a really cool debate, and I think it was fine, and everything should be good.
Everything's cool. Right? Everything's fun. Everything's happy.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Real quick, I sent you earlier.
Oh yeah, you sent me a few things. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I think the Eric Trump Jr. sound piece I have.
Dead air is good. I'm texting.
Dead air is fine. It's super nice.
I'm texting someone I want to sleep with. So while this happens, so.
Oh, my phone just vibrated.
It did.
It's me.
I'm gonna fuck Mike. I'm gonna suck his dick.
I'm the person.
He and I are gonna talk. I'm not gonna do another one of those like
getting boned.
Another one of those Putin Trump things, but like, you guys did respond well to that. Which is weird, honestly. It's weird that you responded well. Not because it was homoerotic, but because it's like, are you not nationalistic? Do you not care about our country? Do you not care about the Democratic Party? What's up?
Everything wants me to pay for it.
I mean, the internet's just turning into a worse and worse place.
Alright. Oh, well.
That's funny. That's
okay. Okay. I think I avoided it. All right. Here's a clip of Eric Trump talking about how his papa saved Christianity.
Done, for natural gas in this country. He's protected the Second Amendment. He's literally saved Christianity. I mean, there's a full-out war on faith in this country by the other side. I mean, the Democratic Party, the far left, has become the party of the quote-unquote atheist. I mean, they want to attack Christianity. They want to close churches. They want to, they're totally fine keeping liquor stores open, but they want to close churches all over the country. I mean, look what he's done in the Middle East. Peace in the Middle East. Peace, look what he's done with prescription drug prices. Like, insulin going done.
Okay, so immediate argument right there. Differences between a church and a liquor store. Does a liquor store make you stand in rows for like 2 hours and yell loudly?
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that, but at least liquor stores always have like 100 to 200 people.
Yeah, that's the other thing is the volume of people that are in a liquor store.
These fucking dumbasses.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Who are, by the way, and not just Catholics, because there are some Protestants who do this, including
John McKinnon says, Jesus, is that what he sounds like? I could have gone the rest of my life not knowing that. Yeah, sorry, man.
Is it me?
That's no, Eric Trump.
No,
that's what Eric Trump sounds like. It's a horror show.
Voice and
his other son, Donald Trump Jr., also sounds horrible.
Worse.
Yeah, worse maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, Donald Trump Jr. Yeah, I think he does sound worse.
But what's amazing is he has more airtime.
He has more air in general.
Yeah.
I think he can breathe better.
Damn. Got him.
I mean, that's a weird thing to. I don't know. I'm weird about like speech and singing and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What the fuck was I saying? Now it's gone. Now I'm a dumbass again.
Lost to the ether.
Lost to the ether. No, we were talking about churches.
Churches versus.
It doesn't matter. I won't make people
liquor
sit through this. This is bullshit.
All right.
Thanks.
One other thing I had that I thought was.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton trailer thing that she's got going on.
Oh, fuck. We need to make communities! What a dumb bitch.
She
what
sucks
an awful
so
person.
She sucks so bad.
God damn it.
So Hillary Clinton has a podcast that's coming out, or maybe is already out. I don't know. But the trailer for it is super good.
It rules. It fucks really hard.
And you won't hate her
it hits my back walls.
anymore.
I mean,
for her having this trailer.
To be fair, anyone that hates her and justifiably hates her as much as they will. And anyone that hates her and unjustifiably hates her will hate her as much as they ever will.
Yeah, so. there's no escaping the Hillary Clinton.
And that houndstooth jacket, I usually don't critique what women wear, really, because
that's
one,
a horrible jacket, though.
I try not to be a sexist, and number two, I don't know anything about this kind of shit. but it is painful to look at. It's like it's houndstooth, but it has like red backing on each of the patterns, and so it like looks like it's trying to be a 3D pattern, and it really hurts your eyes.
Yeah, it just looks like a bad jacket.
I mean, yeah, if you want to be overly simple about it.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to like complicate things.
So this is the trailer to the Hillary Clinton podcast.
Get angry at you now.
Go ahead. I don't care. No. You promised to kill us both tonight, and you haven't yet. So
I offered. I didn't promise.
No, you promised.
I offered.
All right, you did say you might. Anyways, this is the trailer to Hillary Clinton's new podcast. You and me both. Sassy.
What a fucking dump it.
Oh, gotta turn the sound on.
Please don't.
This is like basic broadcasting stuff.
If only I wasn't a fucking If only we had a producer. By the way, we'll pay you nothing to become a producer.
Yeah, neither of us are getting paid to do this. Yeah. So you'll also receive the same pay
You'll receive less than us.
Yeah, we're very communist. Well, no, we're very communist in that you're gonna receive the exact same pay that we do.
No, you'll get the same pay, but the thing is that you'll get less accolades.
Oh,
because we won't mention.
No. We'll bring up the producer.
Honestly, how much have
just
we
like
brought?
just
no, hold
just
on.
like we bring up the listener.
Cam? We have not brought up Cam nearly enough.
I tag him in every post.
He's tagged in every post, but how often do we bring up the person that wrote our theme music?
Every post.
in a tag, but that's different.
Okay, well, if Cam wants to join us on the fucking thing,
do not offer that, because he's going to take us up on that immediately.
And you know what? Let's do it.
Every time that I go live on Instagram, Cam immediately pops up.
And he's always a great man. Yes, he's a very great guest.
But I want variety.
And you know what I could do here? Hold up, I'm going to show the people what I could do here.
And I'm going to kill him with my
if you're watching on video, I'm going to show you what I could do here.
Yeah. What are we doing now?
You see this blank area over here? You see this?
Blank area? No. No one sees what blank area is.
Well, no, on the stream.
You fucking idiot.
On the stream.
I am looking at the stream.
It'll pop up in a second.
You fucking
You're going to see a black area next to you.
Acting as if there's a delay.
There's a black area next to you. That could be Cam. He could be in the center of us.
He's going to be our little strip?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He could be in the center of us, and I could reposition the chat stream.
You think he wants to kiss?
Hope so.
Just a
three-way kiss between us.
I mean, he's a nice guy.
He is a nice guy, and all things considered,
nice guys more.
Yeah.
If I know anything about the internet.
Hey, we should get to this. We should get to this Hillary Clinton clip.
I don't want to.
Nobody wants to.
Do it. Just do it.
Yeah. All right. So this is Hillary Clinton's trailer for her new podcast. You and me both.
Hi, I'm Hillary Clinton. We're living through pretty intense times. A pandemic, an economic free fall, a long overdue reckoning with racism, and lots of uncertainty about the future of our democracy. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like we need some community.
Hello.
Community.
Good to see you.
As they say it down south, we're glad to be seen and not viewed.
Some humanity.
I want to lament, right? I need to lament, and I want to lament with others.
You're not lamenting! You're spending your whole fucking time doing this shit!
I don't know how honest you would like me to be if it's meant to be lighthearted, but I'm going to give you my deep. Okay, so my honest...
I'm not running for office.
Join me for my new podcast, You and Me Both, where we tackle big subjects like faith, leadership, and food. In conversation I just love talking to.
This woman will never die. She will never die. She will not die. That's a fact. That is a fact. You and I will be 70, 80, 90 years old.
Still hearing
which
about
we won't get to. But
Hillbot Clinton.
And she will look more or less the same way as she does in 10 years.
John McKinnon, what the fuck is going on? We're descending into chaos.
I'm going to fucking... Never mind.
So I'm just gonna throw this out here. I don't think either of us has really great charisma.
Fuck you!
No.
I have fantastic charisma. Are you kidding?
Hear me out.
Everyone that listens to this, send me a private message
telling me how much charisma I have.
No, not
on a scale from 1 to 100.
At Dank Deleuze on Instagram and tell me if I have shitty or good charisma. Because, goddamn it,
people are just going to lie to us. It doesn't matter.
I suck. I fucking suck in so many ways. I'm so shitty and I'm so fucking awful.
So maybe the only
charisma
thing
is the only thing that I have.
Maybe the only thing we have is charisma.
Thank you. Fuck, you got it so wrong. How could you get a take so wrong?
Because I was just being
when I'm on the podcast with you.
I was just being edgelordy. Anyways,
we only have charisma. That's more edgelordy. We're probably shitheads.
Have more charisma in like our worst moments than Hillary has in her best moments.
That's also true. Yeah.
Right. Like,
I mean, when we're blackout drunk, we're not charismatic at all.
No, because we're
experience 30% of our lives.
Yeah.
And so I get it. But
so even with our 70% of moderate sobriety, we're more charismatic than Hillary Clinton is on like an average day.
Not moderate sobriety, just moderate memory. But yes.
Moderate, I'm going to recall this the next day. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, fuck. And there was one other thing.
I already memed about it, guys, but if you want to learn how to write poetry, which I'm sure a lot of you really desperately want to learn how to write poetry.
From you.
From me, yeah. The only thing you have to do is just listen to all of Hillary Clinton's rhythms and movements and phraseologies and do everything except for that. And then you will become an incredible poet. Genuinely. You'll never make anyone cringe ever again.
So, you may recall...
I don't want to. Oh, fuck this bullshit!
You may recall, I explicitly stated that Amy McGrath was a pro-Trump Democrat.
Yeah.
And that she was funded extensively through the DNC.
And pro-Trump Democrat
to beat Charles Booker.
Right.
A real progressive.
And as much as I hate McConnell, I think a pro-Trump Democrat is probably worse.
Worse.
Okay, yeah.
I agree.
Go on, please. Yeah.
So I put it out there that Amy McGrath was a pro-Trump Democrat. The DNC funded her extensively to beat Charles Booker in the primary, a real progressive who barely lost to her after having 1/10 of her monetary support. And she's almost definitely going to lose.
Yeah.
In the general election here.
I'm sorry, I need to interrupt you really quickly.
Go ahead.
I'm already getting messages as of a couple minutes ago
about how charismatic you are.
General validation about charismatic ability from Geran de Rick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So thank you, Geran. And
learn how to pronounce his name or her name or their name.
Geran de Rick, I think, is probably how it's pronounced. I'm probably wrong. But I have now followed this person, which I don't do very often, and thank you. I love you. I'll show you my dick if you want.
Good to know you found new best friends.
Yeah, fuck you, Mike. Are you serious? Have you seen you? Have you talked to you?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
In like weird fugue states, I've done all those things. Anyways, I mentioned several times now that Amy McGrath is a pro-Trump Democrat whose major talking point about Mitch McConnell is that he is not enabling Trump to drain the swamp enough, right?
Right.
So Amy McGrath has a new ad out.
Don't do this to me.
Which is
I'm so tired of this shit.
Trump.
I am so tired of this shit.
After the DNC,
Please don't.
DNC
don't do this.
extensively funded her campaign,
Mike, please
in
stop.
opposition to a progressive.
It's like they're not a full body.
And here's the other thing. I've heard it from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Political pundits, like localized in Kentucky. That there's no like center in Kentucky. There's
really?
Yeah. There's a hard right and a far left in Kentucky.
That's crazy that there's no like moderates in Kentucky or probably anywhere.
I mean, there's probably some moderates, but there's not enough that they like really count.
Yeah.
In all things considered.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So the DNC has specifically chosen a candidate who is running center right against a hard right candidate in a state in which that's not like the your phone out of the screen, man. We can all see it.
No, I'm texting.
Stop texting bitches or whatever.
No, this person's telling me that I'm charismatic still.
Oh, okay.
It's related to the podcast.
It's the only dopamine hit you've had today, right?
I have had very little.
Yeah.
I've made so many names and so little. I'm listening to you though.
I'm gonna play this clip.
You're like my girlfriend.
I'm gonna play this.
I will listen to you.
I'm not your girlfriend.
But I don't have a girlfriend. Oh, I see the phone on the screen now. That is very obnoxious.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna play this.
I'm drinking a lot, y'all.
This is apparently an ad.
Go ahead and sell her shit out.
Yeah, this is apparently an ad from Amy McGrath, the Democratic response to Mitch McConnell.
I hate this.
God damn it! I did the thing where I forgot to put the
sound
on.
Fucking idiot! I'm getting text again.
How do I? Oh, there we go. How was the sound
I don't hear
still?
anything.
No. Hold up. I got it.
Mitch McConnell will try to nationalize the race, try to make it about whether the National Democratic Party or the National Republican Party is in charge of policy. Because when it comes to that national battle, Kentucky voters tend not to like the National Democratic Party.
These polls that ask folks to give a job rating, that's effectively the office holder running against himself or herself. And once McConnell is running against somebody else, he's pretty good at making them the issue.
I hate the style of these things, man.
Yeah, this is bad.
I hate it so much.
I would do graphic design work for free if I believed in the candidate. So that just tells you like what they pay for.
Strategy is probably going to be to cast him as part of the elite, part of the swamp that Trump said he wanted to do.
Looks as autistic as she
running
is.
against somebody else. He's pretty good at making.
I want to go back to
what we'll see
before
said he wanted to do running against himself or her as part of the elite, part of the swamp that Trump.
I like this geriatric old fuck with like a fucking bandage on his head because he's too old to like.
And add in with that John McKinnon, Hillary is like a geriatric iguana, got a master's degree in public speaking.
It's absolutely true.
Just ha ha ba 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 ba.
Yeah.
Which she takes all of the shit from the Romans that I was mentioning before and ignores them.
Yeah, no,
entirely.
I thought you were gonna say that she applies it, and I was like, no.
She applies it really well.
No,
she knows her rhythms and triptychs and everything work. It's awesome.
I heard these kids talking about Pokemon Go.
Why don't you go Pokemon Go to my butthole?
Pokemon Go to the voting
Fuck
booth.
me to death.
Yeah. All right, let's continue this video. Yep, we're gonna do it.
All right, fine.
Said he wanted to drink. Once McConnell is running against somebody else, he's pretty good at making them the issue.
So what we'll see is Democrat Amy McGrath likely will try to frame the election in terms of those domestic policies where Kentuckians are not especially conservative. Mitch McConnell will try to nationalize the race, try to make it about whether the National Democratic Party or the National Republican Party is in charge of policy.
No.
While the president's support has eroded somewhat in the state, I don't think we can reasonably expect him to lose Kentucky. That would be a loss on the order of Herbert Hoover in 1932, because Kentucky was Trump's fifth best state in 2016.
Kentuckians generally don't like in-your-face politics. And Mitch McConnell's very placid, unexciting, seemingly uncontroversial approach to leadership fits much more with Kentucky's traditional politics than Trump's in-your-face politicking. And it's surprising he, in the polls, even shows up as popular in Kentucky as Trump does.
She started out with a pretty good three-legged stool, and that is McConnell's part of the swamp. He stands in the way of lower drug prices, and he stands in the way of an infrastructure bill that would create jobs. You know, you get a three-legged stool to stand on, you can make a pretty decent argument. You can get people's attention.
McGrath probably will be trying this time is to see whether she can sell mostly a Democratic platform, a Democratic set of issue positions, but with symbols that are more comfortable and familiar to swing voters and even moderate Republicans, to see if they're willing to switch if they feel respected in the way her campaign tries to do. Because McConnell has both been a stolid Trump supporter for much of the last 2 years, and yet these days has been distancing himself from Trump, especially on issues related to the pandemic, means that a Mitch victory or a Mitch defeat will get spun however people want to see it. Some people will say it's because of his ties to Trump that he either won or lost. Other people will say it's because he tried to distance himself from Trump that he either won or lost.
True.
It'll go through that spin cycle and people will conclude whatever they'd like.
Oh, this wasn't actually the Amy McGrath.
This administration did not create
it. Where was the
Go home.
All right. I'll find...
No. If you want to find this last night, it's fine.
Yeah, I really feel like we need to find this here because it's a great pro-Trump ad. Hey.
Trump is the bayest of the bays. I would fuck Trump. I will fuck Trump. The plan is that I will fuck Trump. Regularly.
Don't.
Not just once. I'm going to do it a lot.
Twice?
I'm going to put...
Three times.
Yeah,
three times.
Like at least once a week.
Three times.
At least once a week. I'm going to put my penis inside of Trump. We're going to move it around.
Cause I'm good at sex.
I'm really good at sex, so I'm gonna move it around inside of his body. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
I'm gonna stimulate him.
Okay.
I'm gonna like move my hips.
Ooh.
My pelvis is gonna like do a little. I don't know if anyone can see this. You probably can't because you can't see my hips. But they're just gonna do little circular motions.
Okay. I think I found the actual ad.
I'm just gonna slowly grind myself into him. Because you know what, you really want to focus on Trump's clit. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
I think I found the ad, Dorian.
So you want to do a small circle around that. That's what I'm saying, man. So what you want to do is you want to get him down. You want to get him real wet first. And you just want to grind small circles into his body. So that's right. Actually, what's nice about having like a giant beard cut is that you can press down on the clit while you're fucking him.
I'm gonna play this ad.
Trump. And so you get to like do little circular motions with your cock.
Oh, stop it!
Along with your tummy, and you get to stimulate everything.
Yeah.
And Trump is gonna come all over my belly.
You're doing another like really homoerotic thing.
Yeah, that's the whole goal.
Yeah.
It's just to do like one of those every other episode because people loved that. Honestly,
yeah, people did love that.
People really liked me talking about licking Putin's urethra.
This is our viewership.
I cannot escape from writing pornography. That's gonna be my entire life. That's gonna be my when I'm on my deathbed. My children, which will not exist.
Guérin Derick is regretting his previous comments about charisma.
Fuck you. I will fuck you to death.
John McKinnon says you do need a producer, bud.
Yeah, producer would be good.
John is right.
Or an AA meeting.
Yeah.
Would be good.
Either one.
Like most Americans, I remember exactly where I was on September 11th. I was in the Pentagon.
I was eating a banana in my shorts.
I felt it. When Amy McGrath compared the election of Donald Trump to 9/11, it truly made me question her judgment. McGrath's equating that election with a terror attack that killed 3,000 Americans.
I think this might be a different ad too.
Yeah, because of course it is, because we're inundated with this stupid bullshit. Yeah.
I don't know who's for who anymore. Anyways, Amy McGrath, I can't find the fucking ad right now.
I think
she ran
McConnell
an ad
die,
that was pro-Trump. Yeah, McConnell should die.
But so should she.
Yep.
Probably. Just saying.
Let's just
as a theoretical.
Let's just call it here.
All right. Wishing death on politicians. We'll end it there.
We love no politicians. Please take your medicine.
Yeah, please take our medicine. Right? Is that how that goes?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Everything's dumb.
Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.